well tomorrow as the weather this week has for those of us in North Florida, those of us in Tallahassee. It has been spectacular, which puts a little pep in your step. Gives you a little something when you wake up in the morning, you walk out there and go, whoo, let's go. My wife was mad at me this morning because I got up and opened up every window in the house and all the screens, and it was like 5:15, so they're all asleep. By the time they got up at like 6:30, like, what the hell? It's 40 in here. And I sat smiling with my coffee and said, yes, it is.
I'm a man. It's 40.
It is 40, fellas. Enjoy while you can. It won't be for long. This was great. It has been great. Feel good about the picks, which means I'm going to go 2-8. I mean, we're good. We're good, but we're not, this is it. We got to continue to make hay. I forgot to check in all of our haste and everything going into this past week. What did I do last week? Anybody know? I can find out. I know I sent Tom my picks last week. I'll have to I'll go back and look at it again.
Got them up on the screen.
From last week or today? There. Oh, you're talking about right now. Oh, that's last week, yeah. I had LSU on the money line, plus 140 was a win. Iowa State was a win. Ohio State was not. BYU was a win. Illinois first half was a win. Yeah. Good thing I went first half.
Hey, very nice.
Yeah, you like that one? Pitt first half against Cal was a win. So that's a W. That's a W. That's a W. That's a W. That's a W already. I have Ohio State loss in the Penn State. Did they win by 3 in overtime?
Yeah.
I got a loss there. So just 2 losses with that top slate. And then the Seahawks plus 3.5. No, that was a loss. Bucks Saints over 41. Easy money, buddy. Yeah. Easy money there. And then I lost Broncos Chargers. So what is that, a 7-3 or a 6-4?
I think that's a 6-4.
Double check it.
That would put you at 33-27.
Yeah, I think I'm 6-7 over now. Rolling on Big River. Okay. All right. We're making money out here, baby. That's all this is. Come on. We're above and beyond the VIG. We're doing okay. We're doing all right. We're making money on the year. Let's keep it rolling. I do like today's action. I like the Noles tomorrow, and I've included it in my picks. I'm excited about the game tomorrow. Very excited about the game tomorrow. Let's hope I'm right about that. But as far as picks go for this week, you'll see right off the bat, Tom is working on it right now.
A lot of overs.
You know what's funny, Josh? I did see his record on game day this year. You're talking about Stanford Steve. He's having a great year. He was terrible last year. That's what this game is. That's what this is. It's like, you hope to fight, kick, and claw in like a 3 or 4 year window, you're over 500. And maybe you cash the biggest of the biggest along the way, like your best bets, and the percentage of profit is greater. But that's kind of what it is, because you're going to have and it's funny, when you get on a heater, it's nuts, or you seem to zero in on something like an aspect of a game or a team or a conference. That's really what this is. It's like, I've seen it with so many people, like, oh, I've got a really good handle on baseball. I can't seem to get anything right in hockey and football, but I've got baseball down pat, especially first 5. And you're like, really? And then you look at somebody's record and you're like, yeah, they're right. And then other times it's like, well, I haven't won a baseball game in years, don't even bother anymore, but I can't lose on player props in the NFL. It's nuts. It's just it's the weirdest thing, and it's a feeling out. It's a lot of watching. It's a lot of studying. It's a lot of, you got to care. So here we go. My picks. You good? I saw a relieved look. I saw a relieved look on your face. If I could speak.
Yeah, because the tool that I tried to use a couple weeks ago when I showed the people just the raw sheet, like an Excel sheet, it wasn't working. To copy.
And it is frustrating. Yeah, but it is working now.
So we're home stretch.
Oh, there's no doubt, Brett. They don't build all those buildings out in Las Vegas by giving people like Jeff, is what you mean, all of their money. But there are professional gamblers who make a living winning. It happens. I'm not saying I'm going to be one, but they exist, and you can, but the general public, Vegas. It was interesting. What was it? We brought it up a couple years ago. I think maybe it was last year. The public had their best year. This year, the public is having one of their worst years. I believe that's turning around, though.
But last week was an excellent week for the public.
That was all the overs.
All the overs. NFL was Joe Public Central.
Mm-hmm.
And then anecdotally, you and your life, me and mine, my buddies and theirs.
I had a huge week, yeah.
Oh, it was green tickets in our group chat. I got a group chat with a bunch of bets. Green ticket here, win there, green ticket here.
Get ready for all these green tickets this week, baby.
Go ahead. I didn't proofread it, but I got it.
Well, I think people will see. Go ahead, throw it up. Did you guys like that first one? You like that I led with it? I got straight down to the nitty-gritty. Pay me, Martha. Florida State money line on the road against Duke. I should have included it. I just didn't type it in, Tom. That's plus, what am I getting? I should look at that up. Plus 130?
I think it was 130 when we spoke on the phone.
Yeah, I think it was plus 130. So that's the better deal than the points, I think. I like Florida State to win. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I do it. BYU, I've continued to do very well with. They just week after week. Have you noticed that BYU is in on these picks every week? I mean, I try not to overlook what BYU does defensively.
That's your new state of Utah team.
There's always one. There's always one. By the way, Kyle Whittingham last week could have been sued for coaching malpractice in the loss to Arizona State. Cam Rising, who's now out for the year. What's new? Cam Rising is always out for the year. I hate it for the kid, but I mean, honestly, he was 16 for 37 with 3 interceptions last week with Cam Rising. But more than that, if you watched the game, he's just firing balls into the dirt. He was hurt. It was so obvious. I'm watching. I'm like, are you trying to lose a game here, Kyle? Like, they barely lost to Arizona State. Good for Dilly. It's a big win. You beat Whittingham's Utah program. You beat a tough team, but come on, man. You guys out there wounded. Anyhow, give me BYU's defense again. Oklahoma State's a mess. Gundy's out here butting heads with cattle, apparently. What are we doing?
Really?
Oh, he missed his weekly press conference. He had to do it via no video Zoom. It was just audio. And he said the reason he didn't go to it was because that he has a bloodshot eye and he's bruised and swollen because he had a cow on his ranch headbutt him. You know what that sounds like to me? That Coach Gundy was drunk and fell down the steps. That's what it sounds like to me. Iowa -5 against Michigan State. I just bet on this Iowa defense, and Michigan State stinks. Iowa State -13.5. I've been betting Iowa State for some time now, but also, by the way, UCF stinks. So what I just said about Michigan State, I'm going to say about UCF. It's less about Iowa State's offense. It's more about Iowa State's defense and UCF's ineptitude. Give me Iowa State. Chilly weather at Iowa State, too, by the way. Now, you guys got mad at me a couple days ago when I went through all my prop plays and the things of that ilk. I've got a lot of them again this weekend, Tom. But I decided to incorporate the NFL/props into the Redemption Thursday segment here because some of you were like, come on, man, share. So I'm sharing. I made sure I got my bets in before I told all of you. But I took
that's only fair.
Yeah. I took Jaden Daniels over 241 yards passing. That's all day, every day. By the way, I'm going to cash in on that rookie of the year deal as long as he doesn't get hurt, knock on wood. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close, Tommy. That's going to be fun. Chiefs 49ers over 47. Fun game. I think there'll be a lot of points in that game. Seahawks, Falcons over 51. I think there'll be a lot of points in that game. Vikings, Lions, another over 51. They can't set the bar high enough, Tom. I'm going to attack your overs all day until you get it right, Vegas.
think we're going to change the second category for the people listening on the podcast or on the radio right now. The second section is not NFL and props. It's NFL overs, all of the overs.
Sam Darnold over 250 passing yards in what should be an exciting Detroit-Minnesota game, right? Who's stopping each other there? No Aiden Hutchinson to rush the passer? Sam Darnold's going to just be slinging it all over the lot, baby. And then I've got Josh Allen over 205 yards passing because that's just offensive. 205 yards. Get the hell up out of here. He's throwing for 205 yards. We're going over there with Buffalo. And there it is. There are your Redemption Thursday wagers. I have some other player props that I'm not sharing.
I feel like we should, on principle, once a week, or maybe I could just find the information during a break, put together all 10 legs of this and see what it would pay on like a $2 parlay.
I'll do it during the break.
Yeah, the Redemption Thursday parlay.
I'll do it during the break if you want to do it. But I obviously I have to go 10-0, and
one of these days it'll work.
One of these days it will. I've gone 10-0 before over the years. It's happened before. I've also gone 0-10, just so everybody knows. It has happened. I've gone 10-0 before, and I remember walking in strutting like a peacock. I'm like, little 10-0. I should be a professional gambler. I've also walked in 0-10 and thought, nobody should ever listen to one of my picks again. Just take the opposite, everybody. It's crazy.
I'm walking in like a streaming service.
It's nuts. It's nuts how it works. But there are your picks. Give me my money, Martha. I hope. Oh, wow. Josh, you can't take Jaden Daniels under ever. He is a joy. He is what's right about the league. That guy playing football right now is money I would spend to go and see anywhere. He is my favorite player in the league. It's incredible to watch. It's over and over again. This is why if you're a GM, you're just so frustrated. Because this happens, right? Like, so he goes second, and looks like both quarterbacks are going to be a hit, by the way. You're starting to see it now in Chicago. The light bulb's going off. I was worried for him early in the year, missing wide open dudes, slow to process. I was like, we got a problem here. This is not good. You look for little clues early on. I'm like, he didn't see it. This is not good. Lately, he sees it. He's been throwing dimes. They're starting to look like they kind of have a clue in Chicago. He's starting to look like he has a clue in Chicago.
He's starting to. These guys can have the ups and downs. I think we've crowned and kicked rookies out of the league, like the last 10 of them. They've all had moments where we say, nah, not going to work. Maybe outside of C.J. Stroud. And just hang on a few minutes. Let's see if C.J. Stroud continues down that path.
I think he's all right.
Our current starting quarterback is one of those who got that treatment.
It's incredible. He is a story in and of himself. And that I didn't like Baker coming out of college because I thought he was too small. And he does annually lead the league in most batted balls from scrimmage. So, or have the most balls batted. Hey, now. From scrimmage. And he does in Tampa, too.
Somewhere Patrick Pate went, what?
They're forever batting balls on our boy.
Why are my ears burning right now?
On Baker. But when they don't, he's gotten a lot more accurate than he ever was before. He's tough as nails. He's beloved in the locker room. He's an effective scrambler. He's a plus player. But it took 5 years. And, I think probably a humbling. I think a major humbling had to have. He was almost out of the league. And he humbled himself, and now he's a dude. He is a legit dude. There's no getting around it. Like, I watch him now. I'm like, yep, you're a dude. You're a player. He's tough. He's smart. He's a player.
Fitting passes into small windows.
Tiny windows, like on the run.
Yes. Every third down to Chris Godwin. Small window, great catch, great throw.
Lasers. You're like, really? Where does this come from? Where did this happen? But now imagine, golly, go back to that 23 draft, guys. You're a GM and you take Bryce Young, number 1. Sir, my man is a little baby. He's a little baby. He's about 5'9", $180 out here, just a baby. He gets killed and he sucks, and it's just, you're like, what in the world? And the second pick in the NFL draft, the Houston Texans take C.J. Stroud. Ooh, not a baby. Not a baby. 6'4", 220, big arm, already great. What do you do when the owner walks in the room in Carolina and says, Bryce Young, huh? That's a toughie. That's a toughie. That said, I couldn't have told you with certainty that Bryce Young wasn't going to be good in the NFL. The NFL's changed in a massive way since the days of your statuesque pocket passers, 6'4", go through 4 progressions, cannon for an arm. That's the only way you can make it. Super Bowls are won by pocket passers and pocket passers only. That's changed.
Yeah, Bryce Young was a miracle worker because the Crimson Tide offensive line in his final year was trash. It was awful. And if it wasn't for Bryce Young, they might have lost 4 games that season. He was magical.
He was a great college player.
Yep.
I will say that you could have questioned a couple of things, and some people did. Size being first and foremost amongst them. But the second was, what special traits did Bryce Young possess that translates to the NFL?
He's a winner.
You kind of have to ask yourself that question when you go through these things, right? Like, what special trait, when he doesn't have the better players all around him, like he did at Alabama for 98% of the games he played, they were better than everybody else at every single position on the field. So you kind of have to, let's take that away. Let's strip that away. Now he's going to be with the Carolina Panthers, where he won't have a better player at every position. In fact, he'll probably not have a better player at any position.
We'll give you Adam Thielen. Good luck.
What special trait was he bringing to the table? I suppose if you're having that discussion in the room, somebody would have said, well, he's really mobile. We want 5'9"-ish, 180 running around out here, do we?
When did he turn into work done?
Well, he measured at the combine at 5'10". And it's close if you watch that measurement. He ain't big, buddy.
I know he's not.
But he's a baby. He's a little baby. You can't do anything with that. It worked in college. But, okay, listen, turn it around. The Colts took Anthony Richardson, number 4 in that draft. He's a monster. Can't stay healthy. He's wildly inaccurate.
And they'll call a design run for him after he's already injured.
I mean, come on, brother.
Can you believe that? So he leaves the game with an injury, and they're like, quarterback power. Let's go.
The other first-round quarterbacks of that draft. Now, we don't know. We'll see what ends up happening, but not a lot that year, if you recall. That was not the year of the quarterback. You had 1, 2, and then nothing, I don't think, in the rest of the first round, right? I don't think anybody else went as a quarterback in that draft in the first round at quarterback, which was the antithesis to what we just had, which was Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. Quarterback. It wasn't until you got to Marvin Harrison Jr. and then Joe Alt and all those guys. But then again, you went quarterback. Penix went in the top 10. People forget that. J.J. McCarthy went in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
J.J. McCarthy went in and Bo Nix went in the top 15, which get the hell up out of here with that nonsense. Yeah.
Unless he's playing the Bucs.
Oh, then he looks like Elway. That was crazy. Let's talk some Florida State, shall we? We'll do it next. Chef Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Time. It's the one thing we never get back. We can't create it. We can't buy it. We can't store it somewhere. Once it's gone for good, which makes it the most valuable thing we have. The only real question is how we spend our time. So, how much time are you spending every day running in circles with a computer network using old software on old equipment that's wasting your time, that gets in the way and leaves you feeling angry and frustrated? Let's fix that. Call Crown Networking. They've been helping people just like you and I make the best use of their time for the last 20 years. Now is the time for you to make the call. Here's the number in Tallahassee, 850-999-0090, 999-0090, or online at crownnetworking.com. Oh, and talk to them about getting you a new phone system, too. You know, it's time.
We're all going through our own fitness journey. We want to get the most out of our time in the gym or with a trainer. We want to eat the right things and do the right things to be in the best shape possible. Why not find out exactly where you're at in that journey by getting a DEXA scan today? It's the most accurate measurement of all body composition methods. It is the gold standard in what is used in clinical diagnosis, the only method that can determine bone density and give a direct measurement of visceral fat. You can do so and save a bunch of money. That's why I'm here, guys. Use Jeff25 as a discount code for 25% off any of the services at DexaFit. It's not just a DEXA scan. They have red light therapy that helps accelerate wound healing, pain relief, muscle recovery, improve circulation, skin health. They'll also give you tips on personalized nutrition with weight management, fitness optimization. These are all things that you want to do to help correct imbalances. Go see our friends at DexaFit and save right now. Use code Jeff25. Discount code Jeff25 for 25% off any services at DexaFit.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping. Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps. Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors, and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless. Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1861186.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Go to warchant.com and watch Tom, D-Rob go through the all-22 breakdown of Brock Glenn, Brocktober underway, and you'll thank yourself for doing so. And there you go. I mean, I think it's a fun exercise. Tom, what was your favorite part?
That Mike found a concept for Brock around the midpoint of the game where he was able to operate over the middle of the field, short intermediate throws, under 9 yards. According to the numbers that D-Rob charted, 11 of 13 for over 100 yards in that middle area, from 0 to 9 yards. And it was because they were using a basic concept where they're reading a slot defender. It's called stick, but the concept is, all right, I'm going to read that defender. We've got a guy that's releasing out into the flat, typically a tight end, and then we've got a slot receiver on a hitch or a stick route, and I'm going to go where the slot defender does not. And it worked because Brock was able to throw that with anticipation. And that was something that, for me, you didn't see a whole lot of with DJ. Where DJ would throw with anticipation would be the RPO glance or when he would sprint out and throw that 40-yard throw that went 12 yards down the field, like the basic out, the NFL out.
Yeah.
But this one is anticipation kind of over the middle. It helped us on 3 different fourth down plays. 3 different fourth down conversions, we use that basic concept, which tells you that Mike now knows going into this game, when we got to have it, we're going to run this concept. Now, there might be a trick off of it.
There's going to have to be, because they'll take it away.
Correct. The third time they did it, they switched the stick, meaning the guy who usually releases out is running up the field, and vice versa. So they did have a looky-loo once in the fourth quarter, but that was the number one thing. The other thing I found was Brock missed a couple of big explosive plays on that first drive. Well, Ja'Kai Douglas missed an assignment on the second play from scrimmage, and Brock missed an open slant on the first play of the game that might go for 20, 25 yards, heavy close to midfield on your first play. And it's just, So Mike had a plan, and then I think they finally got in sync as the game went on, which you would expect because,
Yeah, absolutely. First start of the year, you've been out, it happens. But I think that should look more comfortable this week in terms of the plan and the execution of said plan. I also believe they'll add more wrinkles to the plan as far as what they anticipate Manny Diaz attempting to take away, and then also Brock's legs. I can't fathom that we won't get an element of this regarding the quarterback run and changing the math and creating 11 on 11.
That's a good point. That my favorite part actually is one of his scrambles on fourth down where he gets the first down, because none of our guys, maybe one of them, but really none of them, scramble drill with him. Nobody works back across the field.
Imagine that, somebody helping another quarterback. Yep.
Well, when they see that on film and they see that this guy can actually do something when the play is dead and buried, because the previous quarterback in the same situation before Brock breaks the pocket, for DJ, it's dead. Play's dead. For Brock, not so. So I would imagine that you're going to see guys work a hell of a lot harder because he put his body on the line more than once to go scramble and make a play for us.
This was the compelling argument being made for Brock and not against DJ. DJ was what he was, a statue. I've gone as far as to say I believe that he's hurt. Now we know he's hurt because that's a new injury, but I believe he was hurt in the lower extremities from Jump Street, from the first game on. I don't believe he was ever the guy that they were bargaining for, that they got originally from Oregon State. Now, I will tell you, Tom, the guy they got from Oregon State had ups and downs and was an okay player there. Still couldn't complete 60% of his passes, but okay. Did have moments when he could run the ball and lower his shoulder and make a few plays. We saw that. The young DJ made some of those plays. He was never dynamic, made some of those plays at Clemson, but he also had problems with processing, and he also had problems with consistency of accuracy and all those things, which is why they moved on from him. And this was a poor bet on Mike's part, made disastrous by an injury, in my opinion. They'll never tell us that. They've never said that, but you can deduce it with context clues. Now that he's out for what looks to be the year after having had surgery on his finger, I would tell you that there was a DJ that started camp, and he didn't wear a sleeve on his knee, and he didn't have a brace on his knee. And then there was a DJ that showed up to practice one day with a sleeve from his calf to his thigh. That DJ followed up that day with a brace on his knee and never really took it off and was never the same. And that ain't good. And I think that's why he became as impotent as he was. He wasn't helped. His offensive line was trash. Obviously, his receivers aren't special. Guys didn't make plays when they had opportunities to make plays to bail him out. All of that's fair. But he was a sitting duck. Teams repeatedly, after they figured it out, oh, he can't move. This line can't hold up. They got communication issues. They're physically not talented. And I'm not sure he pre-snaps protections properly. Let's send the house. And they started doing it. Not right away, but once they figured it out on film, he was a dead man walking. And that's why we were saying what we were saying. It was not a personal affront or attack on DJ. who didn't play well, and I didn't feel an incessant need to defend. But it wasn't like, hey, let's go after this kid because he's the reason for our ills. This doesn't make sense. You can't protect him. You better find somebody that can move and then incorporate elements of those skills, running skills, into your offense to protect him and your offensive line, which isn't good enough. Now you change the math. That's what our argument was, just to remind everybody.
DJ was, after the injury or whatever happened to him, pocket mobile still, but not mobile, not break the pocket mobile.
No.
So he could move left, he could shift right if he needed to buy himself a half second and make a throw. Think Peyton Manning. Like he could have done those things. But again, this offensive line was assumed to be good, and it's awful. In fact, the pressure rate for DJU was the highest in the country. Not Power 5, the highest in the country until the injury. Last week for Brock, his pressure rate was 40%, which would be number 1 in the country if it wasn't for DJU's 48% pressure rate.
Yeah, no, they're not good offensive line at all. Yeah.
So again, if it was if it was DJ from Oregon State who was a little bit more than just pocket mobile, you might have gotten away with a few more plays. You might have made a few more plays.
Maybe.
And in theory, if the offensive line was what Mike thought it was going to be, and if DJ was completely healthy and the receivers were better, maybe this could have worked. But, none of those in theory things came to fruition. So here you are. And now you're with Brock, somebody who didn't start taking off. His first run, non-sacks, run of the day was in the second half, late in this game. And what D-Rob is suspecting, and I agree with him, is because of the opponent, maybe because what he was coached to do, Brock wasn't thinking about releasing and running on his own in a non-designed manner. But now that he knows that he can, now that he knows he can do so and protect himself, one would expect to see Brock take off if he doesn't see somebody open a lot sooner and a lot more frequently tomorrow night. That said, this is going to be a very different defense. Clemson didn't blitz. They just rushed the minimum for most of the game.
Because they knew they could win.
But Manny does. So that is the differentiator this week, where Brock is going to have a bit of a different test about how to deal with pressure, how to alleviate that pressure, where to throw, and make quick decisions.
You're talking about two different levels of defensive talent and personnel. So Clemson knew they could win with their front and didn't have to bring pressure. And so they protected themselves. They didn't have to worry about it. Whereas Duke doesn't have the same sort of overall athleticism, size, and speed as Clemson. They're well coached, and they are very aggressive, but I think he dials that up because he has to. In previous stops, he wasn't always a blitzmonger. This was not who he was.
At times, too, at Miami, he would blitz when there was no reason to.
Yeah.
It was almost like he wanted to show you, kind of like what Peyton does or some other offensive minds, where they want to show you how smart they are when they don't need to. Steve Adazio calling a trick play several times for no reason and short circuits a drive. Like, hey, man, you don't have to do that. Diaz did that back in those days. Now he's forced, like you're talking about, because he's a Duke, so he's got to force the issue.
Did you read Rittenberg's piece this week on who got quarterback right, who got quarterback wrong in the offseason?
Oh, God. No, I can guess a couple of teams.
Yeah. I'll quote it to you in a moment. By the way, it got me thinking a little bit here. It's Chris Spare. It's got me thinking a lot these days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that this would be a relationship that could work. And I don't know that it's a change that's forthcoming. But given our professional and what was merging into personal relationship with Steve Adazio, I would suggest to you that while Steve Adazio should never, ever, ever be your head coach, he is a very good offensive line coach.
Hang on a minute.
All right, my man's looking for work. Whoa, buddy.
Now that is interesting.
Would we welcome him with a pastry?
Well, we would have to.
And a bottle of wine?
So we would have to make a scene. Press conferences, unless you're Tom Rinaldi, are about Q&As, not about look at me.
Correct.
However, in this circumstance, for Steve Adazio's first press conference, named the offensive line coach at Florida State,
yeah,
we would need to make it about us. as he walked in and the cameras are rolling, we would have to walk up there and present him with a pastry and a welcome gift.
I'd call him and say, now listen.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm the guy that sat across from you for years in Charlotte. We started out a little rocky.
Mm-hmm.
I was 30 seconds late to our first interview, and you were giving me the stare down, and I had to come right back at you with a question about how can you possibly win at Boston College. And then you respected me.
While the fire alarm was going off.
Oh, yeah, and we stayed right here.
Yep.
We stayed right here.
You didn't leave the press conference when the fire alarm went off?
No.
You went right for it, one-on-one.
So that moment where we connected somehow in the face of adversity, you were mad at me, Steve. I didn't care because you were Boston College's coach. But we found mutual respect in that moment. And from there, we forged a relationship in which we talked about the great foods of the world as well as red wine.
And when I was playing the role of Rip Torn to Larry Sanders, he rebuffed everything except what I had in my hand.
The pastry.
Which was a bagel. And I said, it's actually a bagel. He said, you having a pastry? And at that moment,
it was in.
Green light.
We were good. Just saying, guys, stranger things have happened. Know your body, transform your life with my friends at DexaFit Tallahassee. You want a science-backed health insight? Find out what you're made of. The most accurate body composition available, measuring bone density, muscle mass, also that visceral fat that you're trying to get rid of. They'll track your progress. You can make real changes. You want to work smarter, not harder. You can do the VO2 max test, which is the best indicator of health and longevity. It offers more than just a number. It shows respiratory function, calories burned at different intensities, and whether your body burns fats or carbs, helping you train smarter like I'm alluding to. They also have that red light therapy, which soothes sore muscles, reduces inflammation, and rejuvenates your skin. Lots of ways to get help at DexaFit. Jeff 25 will save you a bunch of money if you do it. And also, if you call right now, get a DEXA scan and red light therapy, you can get it for just $99. And that is normally close to $200 for those two things combined. You get it for $99. Call 850-510-7728. Say Jeff 25. Tell him, I love Jeff. You don't have to say that. 850-510-7728. Know your body and transform your life. Do it this fall with my friends at DexaFit.
Your local news now.
The Moultrie Police Department and Georgia Bureau of Investigation are actively investigating a Monday night homicide. Officers were notified of a shots fired incident around 6:40 p.m. on Monday. They responded to the incident at the Art Center apartment complex located at 404 7th Avenue Southwest. Upon arrival, officers found a 22-year-old male deceased at the scene. The GBI and MPD's Criminal Investigations Division are actively investigating the case. If you have any information that may assist in the investigation, please contact the Moultrie Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division at 229-890-5500, the GBI's field office at 229-225-4090, or the Moultrie Police Department's tip line at 229-890-5449. You may also email a tip at tipline@moultriega.com. All callers may remain anonymous. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 70. Winds out of the northeast, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, lows around 44. Bright sunshine expected tomorrow. Highs level off around 74. Clear skies and dry Saturday and Sunday with highs in the upper 70s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 62 degrees.
Hey, Greg, did you know that some cars are more prone to auto glass damage than others?
I did not know that.
Yeah, a Jeep windshield is flat, making it very prone to damage. Nissan Rogues are popular. Toyotas, Subarus are always in my shop because they get damaged frequently and they require recalibration.
So you guys see a lot of SUVs.
Yeah, I guess the angle of the glass has a lot to do with it.
But it's not like you can avoid a rock no matter what you're driving.
Exactly. So just go to SeminoleAutoglass.com and let us take care of everything for you.
So how often do you see a DeLorean?
From time to time. Better call Seminole.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's Big Feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And, but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Robert wants to know, does Luke get snaps? Biggest question, really.
I feel like Alex Atkins let the cat out of the bag with a no.
Yeah, did he? I didn't hear it.
There was a back and forth. I forget who asked him.
It doesn't make sense to play him this week.
It was a setup to a question. You know how sometimes there's a statement followed by a question. Don't know if that's part of the plans this week. Before the question was asked, and Alex was on the mic, goes, no. But I think he was not supposed to.
Probably not. So, but I think it makes more sense to play Luke in other games. I think you want to see what you have in Brock right now. It's the first time where that guy is unquestionably the starting quarterback for Florida State University, right? That's who he is. He's now you can say that's because of the injury to DJ. It doesn't really matter whether it was going to happen or not going to happen without that injury. It did happen. He is now the starting quarterback for Florida State. And I don't think you go into, because first of all, Florida State's going on the road as an underdog in this game. This isn't like flippity, let's just figure it out. Let's have everybody play here. We're not, no.
It's not flippity.
No, like this is serious. Like let's go. Let's figure out what we got in this kid. I got to know. I mean, I got to know, as in I'm Mike Norvell. I got to know. So I don't think either of the next two games are games that you would say, okay, I need to see Luke. Because you got Duke and Miami. Both roadies, you'll be underdogs. You are underdogs in both those games. Home game against North Carolina, who probably have already quit on Mac Brown. They're 3-4. They're not playing hard. You'd like to think you're going to take care of business there. Now, I know that is not a safe assumption with this football team. But if you're in a position and you say to yourself, okay, you know what? I got 4 games. I can play Luke in all 4 if I want, because I won't burn his red shirt at that point, and he won't be upset with me, because the parents and the kid have something to say about this too.
Of course, but there's no bowl, so let's make sure that we play them in 4 that are not a bowl game. This would be in that exercise one of the 4, because it wouldn't be Miami or Notre Dame.
No, but it would be. Well, you're right. I mean,
unless Alex was just speaking out loud and he didn't.
No, but you could. Listen, there may be a chance to play him against Notre Dame. If you get blown out, you got a chance to go.
If you're planning on a blowout in one of those two situations.
Yeah, you got a chance. Yeah. But even if you're just trying to see what I would go ahead off this bye week, 2 weeks with my starting quarterback to prepare. I'm implementing the game plan I want to see from him based on his skill set and what I know I have. I'm making all these changes around him, which means it's going to be herky-jerky. You're going to see mistakes, wrong routes, poor communication, the kind of stuff that pisses us all off. But remember, it is part and parcel to making the kinds of changes that they have within the roster. You got a young player here. He's next to a young player who's next to a young player who's running a route next to a young player and a quarterback who's young, and you're going to get mistakes. It's going to happen. There are going to be things that confuse them. They're going to make mistakes. But we're willing, I think we agreed, all of us did, as a fan base, the season shot. The season expectations were not met. That was defined probably week 3. You could just say, that's it, that's all, that's a wrap. You lost to Georgia Tech as prohibitive favorites. You lost as big favorites at home to Boston College, and you lost to Memphis. Once that happened, and in those 2 games respectively, you scored a combined 25 points, the BC and Memphis games. It was over. It was over. You were 0-3. You call it a day. Let's move it on down the road here. This is when we were starting to clamor, really the second half of the BC game. We were like, okay, I've seen about enough of this action. Let's go. Let's do something. Because you have a bye? You had a bye, basically, before the Memphis game. Yes, you did. You had a bye.
Yes, you did.
It wasn't basically, you did. You had a bye. And you still didn't make a change, which you should have. And anyhow, so we wanted to start to see this process to expedite things. You know, and I understand Mike's got to go case by case. This position, this position, this position. Is this kid ready? Does he know the plays? I mean, I can't just put anybody out there just because I like how fast he runs and how high he jumps. Does he know what the hell he's doing? I gotta wait until I have a sense that he's got some plays that he can run in succession. Not, hey, I'm gonna run you out there. Just it's a 9, fast as you can go. You know, no, I mean, you want him to run within the flow of the offense if you're trying to get a read on all these changes. So, I think it's dicey. It's a really delicate line to try to walk here with the Luke situation. Modern college football is a quandary. Modern college football is really tough on coaches. Paid handsomely to try to dance the dance, but it is a problem, and it's going to continue to be. We talked about this yesterday on the show. Florida State is an extreme example of what is going to be the norm unless radical changes are unilaterally imposed and people agree and we have everybody, you know, kind of on the same page in terms of restrictions of transfers and NIL and how much and all that stuff. Because otherwise, what you have is the inability to create quality depth on your roster. Really any depth. From any kid at all who's any good that feels like he should be playing. Because they can leave. They can just say, I didn't win the job. I'm going to make my services available through back channels, however you want to say it. You don't even have to publicly put your name in the portal or anything like that. You can just get it out there to an agent or a rep of some kind. Hey, if somebody's interested in me, I was just a 5-star. I was just a 4-star. I lost out to a kid who's a redshirt freshman or a true freshman, let's say. He's higher than me on the depth chart. I don't like it. I want to play. I want to go somewhere where the upside's greater, where the wins are more frequent, where the opportunity is expanded. Let it be known that I can be had. You're re-recruiting your roster incessantly, and it's most important in telling at the quarterback position. Listen, I'll tell you right now, if you're a Florida fan, you're pretty pleased right now, this year singularly, with the way that they've played hard. They've played very hard for Billy Napier. They should have won the Tennessee game if he wasn't a coward. If he had gone for 2, they could have won that game. And I would argue that even if they went for 2 and didn't get it, he would have won over the fans because of how hard they played there in that environment, right? I say that to say this. What sucks about that is it's hard to fathom, knowing what we knew coming into the season, that Florida and their fan base would probably have more to hang their hat on as this season goes on than Florida State does. They'd have more optimism than Florida State does right now. That said, I'll put a chink in the armor right here. Good luck holding on to Lagway.
Right. Yeah, you almost have to consult. This is how wild it is. You almost have to consult him on his thoughts of the next head coach.
Well, I'm just
crazy.
Good luck keeping him. And
DJ, how do you feel about Lane Kiffin? If he came down here, would you stay? I mean, what? But it's kind of realistic.
Well, somebody like Lagway, who clearly looks like he's going to be a very good player. He's got every physical tool that you could want. He's big, he's strong, he's tough. There's all of that, right? He's got a cannon for an arm. I mean, he went there expressly because of Napier and the quarterback coach. Everything I read was that they fell in love with that tandem, in particular the quarterback coach, that's why he went there. Well, if you fire him, he's gone. That kid's leaving. And if you keep losing games, he might just say, look, I'm not here for the rebuild, brother. I mean, I get it, but I was only planning on playing 3 years of college football. And this one counts because I've been in too many games. And so now I got to go get with the getting. I want to win.
Interesting case study for Lagway, who is from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the RPM on 3, so who was closest, USC was next up. I don't know if I'm going out to USC.
Well, he wanted to play in Riley's system.
He did, but I mean,
well, they're 3-3 with a loss to Minnesota. Correct.
Texas A&M is next. Interesting. Well, they could throw a lot of money at him.
Well, and Elko's a good coach, and they're playing hard for him.
That would maybe be the play. Is A&M just empties the chamber?
Well, sure. Yeah. Would you be shocked? Texas A&M has more upside right now than Florida does.
100%.
A really good coach. He's off to a good start. They'll play hard.
Unless we can woo him with the next hire.
So imagine that we're living in a world where it's entirely possible that your scenario, Tom, is true. That Florida State would be back channeling to try to get Lagway to come to Florida State. Thing is, this situation's not good either. So he'd be like, no, I'm good, guys. I'm going to go ahead and go play somewhere where we can win some freaking games.
$3 million. 4.
It's crazy, man. Hour number 2, fourth coming. It's the Jeff Cameron Show on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722.
The team at Parker Services is growing, and they have immediate openings for talented people. If you have experience in the air conditioning or electrical fields and share their values of honesty, empathy, loyalty, and professionalism, you can have a great career at Parker Services Air Conditioning and Electrical. Qualified candidates will be hired at a minimum of $25 per hour, depending on experience and qualifications. They have competitive benefits, including 401k matching, health insurance, and paid time off. Call or visit their website, TallahasseeAC.com, to apply today. CMCO 50334 and EC 1301240.
Tallahassee is full of rich history and traditions. When you think of things that jump out in the minds of longtime residents, the state capitol, McClay Gardens, the Springtime Tallahassee Parade, FSU and FAMU Sports, the St. Mark's Lighthouse, St. George Island, and Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Paul's has been protecting thousands of people, their pets, their homes, and their lawns in the capital region for over 50 years. Locally founded and still locally owned and operated. There aren't many businesses in our industry that keep it together that long. Paul's Pest Control has many customers we've been honored to serve for over the last 50 years. We've experienced tremendous changes in how we treat homes and protect the people that live there. We've moved from liquid termite treatments that require drilling into the home's foundation to Centricon, a baiting system which works with their natural biology. We've moved from interior service to exterior treatments for general pests. But one thing we're not going to change is our old-fashioned commitment to personal service for each of our customers, the same way we've been doing it for over 50 years.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too,
call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
I'm Jimmy Facek with Facek Brooks Law Offices, and we believe you. Now, what does that mean? Over and over, we hear from the people we represent that when they shared their story of how they were injured with law enforcement, insurance companies, or business owners, they didn't believe our client's story. That's why you need an attorney that has your back no matter what. An attorney who starts by believing you're telling the truth. We are Facek Brooks, and we believe you. 850-777-7777.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Right in Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee.
There's still not a timeline on when the Jacksonville Jaguars might get safety Tayshaun Gibson. When they signed him in August, they knew he would miss the first 6 games of the regular season after violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. However, head coach Doug Peterson was asked about his status now that they have gone past the first 6 games, and there's still not a timeline on when the league might clear him to be able to return to action. Jaguars are getting ready for a game against the Patriots coming up this Sunday. Tampa Bay Buccaneers football running back Sean Tucker. He has been named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. The Buccaneers host Baltimore on Monday. Miami Dolphins football, they're going to match up against the Colts on Sunday. This Sports Flash is brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun, and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Shop Macy's lowest prices of the fall, starting Friday. For the season's best prices on what you need now. Save 40 to 60% on new styles to get you ready for cooler temps. Like cozy coats for your crew, the perfect sweaters for layering, and more fall wardrobe updates. Plus, don't miss amazing specials for you and your home. So good, they won't last. At Macy's.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a...
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
This is Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. There are many companies out there selling pest treatment programs at prices which seem too good to be true. Like most things, you get what you pay for. Let's separate the fact from the fiction. Fiction. The price these companies offer includes all visits needed to keep a home pest-free. Fact. Their prices only include regular visits for exterior treatments. If you encounter pests inside your home, these companies will charge you for additional visits. Is that really pest prevention? At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we always apply exterior treatments, but our plan includes a significant difference. Whenever you encounter an interior problem, Paul's technicians are there, usually the same day you call, and there is no extra charge. With ProShield, you'll never pay extra for providing the service we promised. Pest prevention for your home, and we'll be there as many times as needed to honor our commitment with no extra charge. Paul's Termite and Pest Control is a local company that proudly served the Tallahassee area for over 50 years.
For the elimination of termites and any other pests,
call Paul's. We'll get them all.
And we make lawns greener, too.
Science-backed technology tracked and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
joining us. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. If you're listening on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and if you're watching on Warchant TV, we appreciate that too. Thank you so much on YouTube there. Share with everybody. I was just reading during the break a report. There was an article yesterday in the New York Times about Adam Silver and the upcoming NBA season, and he was talking about, he's looking forward to the long-standing now and advocated relationship that he has with legalized sports gambling, sports betting in this country. Like, he's always been at the forefront of things. And by the way, we're really behind in this country because this has been going on in Europe for years and years and years and years. And for those of you that have ever visited across the pond, you know that you could just be walking down the street ready to purchase some fish and chips and go, oh, there's a little stand there where you can bet $10,000 on today's soccer match. Like, it's crazy. So that's always kind of been the case. But I didn't want to start the hour about the NBA and betting, but I did want to bring this up on a Redemption Thursday where the wagers happen. Sports betting across the country is now the norm, as we first guessed 25 years ago that it would be. Nearly 40 U.S. states now can bet on sports in a variety of ways, different capacities. In 2023, Tom, sportsbook revenues were at $10.9 billion. That, if you want to know, is a 44.5% increase from 2022.
I believe that. I think it's only going to go up at that exponential level until we get to 50 states.
Wow. A 2023 study showed that, don't worry, there's still plenty of illegal sports gambling going on in this country, too. Sports betting revenue for illegal bookies, my kind of people, and unregulated sports books. You've got to be bold to be an unregulated sports book. Come on into the sports book. What?
Why wouldn't you just be clandestine about this? No. Come on in, yeah. Does anybody know? You guys might know. I'm going to turn it to the audience. Here you go, guys. Answer this for me. And I don't mean to besmirch what might very well be a perfectly legal place of business. It just feels a little suspect to me. And I won't name the business because I don't want the owner, the proprietor, to sue me. But you guys know the place next to El Jalisco on Cary Forest there? What's going on? What's going on there? I go walking past there. I'm a fan of El Jalisco. I'm a fan of Mexican food. I'm a fan of tacos. Yes.
I'm a fan of margaritas.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
At that particular establishment.
I am. But that, or any Mexican food joint. Side of the road, I'm good.
Okay, before New Year's, we have to go get a margarona when the light of day is still out there.
Sure, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Not after dark.
Oh, the place where the person got shot?
Yeah.
That was years ago, but yeah, sure. I haven't been out there. Are they still open? You're checking.
They have a campus version. So that we could go to the one on, especially when the kids are gone after graduation.
Oh, get them the hell up out of here. Get out of here, kids.
Ooh, green light.
Let's go. I'm in. You don't have to twist my arm for a margarona, but
you can go to the Prism show after having 3 margaronas. Hit 'em, brass.
But I honestly, there's a little place there next to that particular El Jalisco's on Cary Forest. Those of you who frequent that one know of which I speak. I don't know, man. It's awfully shady. Every time I walk past, I'm like, I think that guy's packing. And it's dark. It's tinted windows. There appears to be some sort of. It's like the old internet cafes, Tom.
Oh, yeah. Those still exist.
Well, come on now. What are we doing here? The world is connected with the internet. Anywhere you go, you could be the outer reaches of the Amazon and you'd have connectivity with the internet the way things are set up now. Why are we using internet cafes unless we're on the dark web slinging like uranium or something? It's something. There's something going on there.
Who is that? Who do you think? The living.
So I don't know, man. If you guys know, please tell me what that joint is and whether or not. I mean, I'm not going in. But I'm always kind of like, ooh, I don't know. This is a little dicey.
There was a restaurant near where we used to be years and years ago on the FM dial, First Place.
Mm-hmm.
It was only open like for 8 hours a week. You remember that restaurant?
The one right around the corner?
Yeah. It was only open for a very small period.
And you always
of time.
thought that was strange.
I'm sure the rent is more than worth it, 8 hours worth of staying open. It just always seems strange.
Oh, this guy Jalen's telling me he used to work there and that it's a gambling spot, those internet cafes. Like the one I'm talking about? Oh, well, I'm wanting to know about the one I'm talking about. Thank you, Jalen, but I want to know that one. Every time I walk past it, I'm not intrigued enough to go in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not.
You want somebody else to go.
It looks dicey.
Yeah.
It looks dicey. You
got kids.
Let me tell you something. That place looks more dicey than the bar we went into in Boston.
Well, that bar didn't look dicey until we got in there.
It looked dicey.
Well, once we got in there,
it looked dicey, period. I thought it looked dicey. That's what attracted me to it.
Well, it said cash only. Well, you see where I come from now. That's a cash only town in Rockaway. So I was like, oh, cash only. I like these places.
But cash only everywhere else in the world is a sign that should just say danger.
Right, in Boston.
Illegal things are happening here if it says cash only.
But it's a nice part of Boston. So, it's almost like Southie meets the North End.
Oh, Jared knows the deal. So they're playing slots, like electronic slots? Because I don't think you can have slots here.
Man, you put the geography of that place on blast. Like, I would stop if I were you. You're going to get got.
I'm helping them. People are going to go over there and like, hey, what's going on over here? Is this a place where I can go in and gamble? Can I dial up some hookers in here? Is that what's happening? It's weird.
Has Hugh Freeze been here?
If not, he can't wait to be.
I hear about this place in the north side of Tallahassee. I would take a job there after Auburn fires me.
Yeah, that bar in Boston was something, man. That was, cash only, and then that back door being open and the TVs being from like 87. You're
that's correct.
This is, yeah.
So one day we're going to have to, at one of our many happy hours, maybe over the Margaronas, pull up the reviews of that place on Google. It is a half an hour of entertainment. It's unbelievable.
Try not to die is the first thing that says. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there, but basically if you complain that a beer took anywhere longer than it should,
not a good idea.
You will be forcefully thrown out of that establishment.
Well, I would never. Yeah. The place screams, "Don't complain here."
Right.
It says, like, we're not having it.
There's some people who did not get that memo.
Remember how angry that guy was at me when you and I sat down at the pub in Ireland and I ordered that special?
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
He was.
He was pissed.
He was mother effing you from a distance.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Well, I'll pour it for you.
But he was furious.
I'll make you a beer. That's fine. You ruined it, but I'll make it for you.
Yeah, it cracked me up. He was mad. And I did it for a reason, but anyhow, yeah, he didn't want to hear the reason. He didn't really care.
There was muttering. There was all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, he thought I was a Yank that he could just assume do without, man. He did not.
Of all the bars we went to, though, independent of that one kind of sucked. It did.
Compared to the other.
It didn't have the
It didn't
aura.
have the gravitas.
It didn't have it. No,
it didn't have it. Wagers that I selected, quickly posted, put up there, Tommy, for today, just to refresh. I included the kids. I got all the props out there and the overs you could handle in the NFL. Start at the top where we took Florida State money line. Come on, Knowles. Enough of this nonsense. Enough of this nonsense. We've never lost to Duke. Don't start now. By the way, if you're Duke, doesn't this feel like the biggest game in the world? I mean, if you're Duke, you got to be thinking to yourself, well, if we can't beat them this year, this team is 1-5 and are dead last. Think about, again, flip it. Think how nervous or excited or both somewhere out there's this very real diehard Duke football fan. His name was just plain Jim. He's been dead for years. But outside of him, rest in peace. But outside of him, there's somebody who is a diehard Duke fan, goes to every Duke football game, wants Duke, He remembers the Spurrier year. He's been waiting. We're going to do it someday. These days, they're sitting around talking about one day we're going to the college football playoff. It's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen. But what they also know is that they've never beaten Florida State. It's never happened. And they're sitting at a high-end cafe today, and they are talking about the law and many other things. And somewhere along the way, somebody says, all right, enough of the serious talk for a second. We got to do it this Friday night. I mean, what are we tailgating? What are we doing? Oh, yeah. This is our time. It's going to happen. This is it. Don't talk like that, Chad.
Ain't their time.
Don't talk like that, Chad. You don't know. I thought we had him dead in the crosshairs a few years ago when Willie Taggart was there, but we didn't. And I'm telling you now, I don't want you speaking out loud where the football gods can hear you. You know what I know. This is a hell of an opportunity. They're 1-5. They're dead ass last in the country in running the football. We've got a good defense, and we're at home on a Friday night when Wallace Wade is electric.
On the Devil's deck.
With the DJ playing the tunes. This is it. And then somebody says in that conversation, well, the problem is our offensive line and our quarterback. First, we start with the offensive line. Isn't great. Their defensive line has shown a pulse, and our quarterback is a statue, and that's the only thing they can get to. I mean, they actually got to Cal's quarterback. They actually got, they made plays, and he runs much better than our quarterback. So I don't know. Damn it.
Now or never. George is getting upset.
I know, Jamel. You're right. Taggart didn't. I'm just trying to think of a bad year for Florida State
the COVID
football.
Year. Yeah.
The
COVID year.
That was
Jordan
a crazy
ran
game.
wild.
Yeah, Jordan ran wild, right. No, I was just trying to think of bad years off the top of my head, Florida State.
I did compile the 10-bet parlay.
Oh, what did it turn out to be?
Okay, so put a number. How much would you want to wager on that? Just so I'll give you a total based on how much.
Well, it's plus a ton.
It's plus a ton. Yeah, how much would you throw down on a?
Well, if we're having fun with this, $100. Just like whatever, just throw $100. Bunch of pizzas for the kids.
It would pay $59,000.
All right,
there you go.
Well, $59,000 on a $100 bet.
I'll tell you what.
You're gonna do it?
No. For 100, but I'll put down 10.
Well, of course. What's that paying you?
Well, I mean, it's a factor. It's a decimal place. $5,900.
Yeah. So, $5,900. Well, I hope I win you $5,900.
Please do.
Yeah.
I'll take you to get a margarita.
Well, thanks. Or margarita. We'll splurge. We'll do better than a margarita. We'll do a margarita. Troy, brother, you cracked me up. Listen, 1-5 or 2-5 or 1-6. I mean, you can't live and die when the margin of suck is measured in that way, right? You got to know this ain't good. This situation, like we're like praying for a win. That we're praying for a win over Duke. This is what our life's become, as an underdog in a sod game. It's a sod game. Come on. There have to be rules about that. I mean, I know what it is, road dogs. But, somebody on high has to be able to say, no, we're not making this a sod game.
No. Yeah,
you can't plant that patch of grass in that cemetery. You cannot do it.
To improve to 2-5 with a win over Duke? No, man. Like who's going to cut that sod? Who's going to want to go cut that sod? We win the game. You give somebody a pair of shears to go get the turf, because mostly it's field turf we cut now. Like who's going to want to go do that?
Yeah, Mike can't call this a sod game. Don't call it a sod.
Wouldn't even break a rock.
Nate told us on Twitter yesterday that if it is a sod game, they should cut it up and throw it in the trash on their way out to the buses. Okay, that's about the only way it could be a sod game. I don't know. It's I was blown away by the fact that could be a sod game, right? Never lost to Duke. I don't know why I hold on to it. I do.
It's the last thing we got. The bowl streak was a thing we had for a long, long time. And then it was gone.
Yeah, the bowl streak was incredible. I remember thinking, well, that may never be broken in my lifetime. Well,
and every time that we brought it up, Virginia Tech was so thin-skinned, they had to bring, well, we have a longer bowl streak because you had to vacate bowls.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's bitch made is what that is.
Yes.
You can't be going that route.
Close that loophole too, NCAA.
Speaking of which, you saw?
They did.
Per our conversation. Well, that's what they should have done. It's, again, good on you, Dan Lanning. Good on you. NCAA, get your head out of your ass. Good job. Let's go. Figure it out. The NFL wouldn't have figured it out. They would have been like, we'll talk about it in the offseason. It takes 2 seconds. Oh, that's not the spirit of the rule. We didn't want that. Let's fix that. Okay, what do you say we do? How about we just throw the flag pre-snap? Play never happened. If you miss it and we see it, same thing. Time goes back on the clock, 5-yard penalty. What? This isn't hard, guys. Everybody good with this? Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Let's change it. Announce it right now. Get out there. Tell everybody. Could have done it an hour after the game.
We're also vacating Oregon's win and awarding it to Ohio State. And actually, no, what we're going to do is we're going to fly Ohio State back to Autzen, and we're going to replay that down and replay that situation.
No, well, then we'd be going back to a time where that rule hadn't been changed, and I'm going to go ahead and put my 12th man out there is what I'm going to do.
It's a paradox. But it's a paradox where we're going to play the last couple of plays all over again.
Oh, man.
I hope that's the thing that breaks Ohio State is they go back to the 12th man play, and they say, God, we were just a 25-year consistent winner, and then for some reason it feels like the line of demarcation was Dan Lanning's 12 men on the field.
Well, you won't want to do the 12-man thing because that's happened before in games where people got away with it and won the game because of it on like a scoring play.
Then Jeremiah Smith transferred to Florida State,
Woo!
and it just seemed
what
like
a day.
All kinds of weird stuff happened.
And then you'd have a Dan Lanning shirt.
Yeah,
then you would be wearing a Dan Lanning shirt.
Deal with the devil, and it's a photo of him.
It was beautiful. You're right, Josh. Should have had 12 on the field against Jacksonville State. We'll give you your 5 yards.
100%.
Absolutely. My man Shannon Young, loansforknowles.com. That is loansforknowles.com. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Falling interest rates benefit you, of course. And if you have credit card debt, you're paying high interest rates on that. You might want to consider talking to Shannon, figuring out how we can pay off that credit card with the home equity. Maybe you got home improvements, whatever it might be. He just saved a borrower over $2,000 a month by using the equity in their home to pay off that debt, those high interest rates. Increased their credit score, too, while he was at it. Shannon's the best in the business. Loansforknowles.com is where you can find him. Go do it. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Investors, are you looking for a creative way to purchase your next rental property? Are you looking to get into the Airbnb space? If so, you need to know about DSCR loans. It stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. These are loans that do not require traditional income verification. As long as the proposed rent covers the mortgage payment on the subject property, that's the only income you need. If you're looking at investing and don't know if you can qualify, let's set up a plan to get your next income producing property and start putting you on a path to passive income. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. And don't forget, every fellow Knoll that we close a loan for, I will personally make a donation of $250 to the Battle's End. It's Shannon Young at 954-369-6171.
Equal housing limit. NMLS number 373036.
We're all going through our own fitness journey. We want to get the most out of our time in the gym or with a trainer. We want to eat the right things and do the right things to be in the best shape possible. Why not find out exactly where you're at in that journey by getting a DEXA scan today? It's the most accurate measurement of all body composition methods. It is the gold standard in what is used in clinical diagnosis, the only method that can determine bone density and give a direct measurement of visceral fat. You can do so and save a bunch of money. That's why I'm here, guys. Use Jeff25 as a discount code for 25% off any of the services at DexaFit. It's not just a DEXA scan. They have red light therapy that helps accelerate wound healing, pain relief, muscle recovery, improve circulation, skin health. They'll also give you tips on personalized nutrition with weight management, fitness optimization. These are all things that you want to do to help correct imbalances. Go see our friends at DexaFit and save right now. Use code Jeff25. Discount code Jeff25 for 25% off any services at DexaFit.
Don't miss TSC Tuesdays every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. during the Greg Tish Show. Find out what's happening at Tallahassee State College every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 FM.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martín, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martín, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martín also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martín the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Couple of questions worth our time in the chat. I don't do enough of this during the week at all, but it's kind of compelling here, I think. First of all, Troy wanted to know what our record needs to be, Florida State's record needs to be for Mike not to be on the hot seat. Oh, I think he enters the season next year on the hot seat. I think he's lost most of the goodwill that he had. And I think you cannot afford to compile back-to-back, losing seasons or anything like that. I think they'd let him go if that happened.
Yeah, that's fair, but I guess maybe I'll advance the question and say, what would his record need to be to exit the hot seat that he entered the season on? So what would he have to do next year?
Yeah, 8-9 wins, whatever, something like that. Get back to winning games and looking competitive and putting yourself in a... I mean, remember, folks, and I hate to do this to you. I don't like doing this. I do this and people get mad at me. Florida State opens with Alabama next year. Better buckle up. Better figure something out. I don't care how bad Bama is compared to what they normally are. We're 1-5. Underdog to Duke.
Can we rise to the level of Vandy by next year's opener? That's our goal. Let's get to Vandy level.
It's funny. So I like Mark Stoops. I think he's a good coach. And they just lost at home to Vanderbilt. And a buddy of mine knows I like Mark Stoops. And he texted me. He's like, hey, your boy Mark. I'm like, hold on. No, we're not out here just taking shots at Mark Stoops. Vandy has not only beaten Alabama, but they beat Virginia Tech. And they beat Kentucky. Vandy's like straight up kind of good.
Top 35 in the FPI.
But I'm saying it's not like, look, do I think Vandy's great? No. But do I think they're pretty good this year? I do.
They're good enough to lose to Georgia State.
I mean, Vandy is, we talked about this all yesterday. I think we're about to see like just madness in college football. I think these weird ass seasons where you end up going, what in the world? I feel like it's a thing that's going to happen. Like you're just going to go, okay. Listen, Vandy lost on the road to top 20 ranked Missouri in overtime. All right. You're right. They lost to Georgia State, but they beat Virginia Tech.
Georgia State put up 426 on them, too.
Yeah, 36 points. I'm not advocating for Vandy's defense. But Vandy ended up losing in overtime to Mizzou, beating Virginia Tech, more importantly, scoring 40 on Alabama, and it wasn't a fluke. They didn't have like a kick return and 2 pick sixes. I mean, they moved the ball. That quarterback can play. And they clearly believe in themselves because they coupled it right after that big win and went on the road and beat Mark in Kentucky, whose defense is good.
Alabama averaged 8.8 yards per play in that game and found a way to lose.
Yeah.
First down, it's 2nd and 1. They still lost.
You know what'll be interesting? I think you can make a compelling argument, and we'll probably know to a large degree. I think Texas is probably the best team in the country that I've seen this week, and they play Georgia. We'll get a good sense of what's going on there. But October the 25th, Texas Vandy at Vandy. Come on, Commodores. Let's go. Let's go. Imagine a Vanderbilt season. Imagine a college football world in which, as we go through and watch these games, Texas could have wins over Michigan on the road. They could beat Georgia. They got another big one in there that Oklahoma, ass-hammered Oklahoma. So that in a singular season, imagine a world in which Texas has wins over Oklahoma, Georgia, and Michigan and goes on the road and loses to Vandy, who simultaneously that year has also beaten Alabama.
To me, I think that would elevate the Tide to number 1 in the country at that point. If Vandy beats Texas, then Alabama is number 1 in the country.
If Vandy beats Texas, you'd be like, boy, Alabama gave Vandy a hell of a game.
That's right.
They really deserve to be better than, yeah.
This conference, man. I got to tell you, every time I think this conference can't do more to impress me.
It's a meat grinder. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Honestly, though.
It's just another Saturday in the SEC.
So it's funny because we've reached the time of the year. This came up on Coach Speak, which will be out today. We've reached the time of the year where the assembled press asks the question. It's like 5 and 6 games into the season, 7 games for some teams. The question is, if you're disappointing, what do you say to your fans? This is what's asked of a head coach at the dais now after these games. What do you say to your fans about the frustration they feel with this season, right?
Do you hate that question?
Of course I do, but here's what makes me laugh. The coaches take the bait. Gundy did it this week in his press conference because they're awful at Oklahoma State. Remember, Oklahoma State was good last year. I'm telling you, what we're watching is unprecedented. We're beginning to see the signs of all of the changes in college football have a, for lack of a better term, if you think it's negative, a deleterious effect on the games, in the seasons, in the records of these teams. Or if you think it's great for college football because we've never had parity, and all of a sudden now it's like, well, maybe Vandy can beat Alabama and Texas in the same year. Who knows? Like, truly, we've been talking about a sea change, right? That's what we're looking at, and it's not crazy sounding. Just the fact that it's not crazy sounding,
right? Which is going to lead to the national talking point this year. That, you know what? As long as you just win your games, that's all that matters,
and it'll
guys.
Infuriate you.
That is where we're arriving to. You can feel it. You can feel it. Well, parity is here, guys, like never before.
Right. But here's the thing, like,
so just win all your games.
And for all the reasons that we've talked about before, everybody has a chance to compete in the portal. Everybody can go and pay some NIL money. So if you really want to change your fortunes and you're Nebraska, you're stuck out there in a dying state, kids aren't coming there. And so you go, well, we got to get the Raiola kid. We got to get a real quarterback. We got to do something. Just offer him more money. Just bring in a real quarterback, and we might win 8 games. And if we win 8 games, we change the perception of who we are. We'll be in a freaking bowl game.
Man.
And we got a chance to maybe – listen, the Bill Snyder approach, like, okay, I'm going to play nobody. I'm going to play I'm the sorry teams you didn't even know existed. I'm going to play them repeatedly. We're going to win 9 and 10 games and go to bowls. And we never did at Kansas State. We never went to bowls. Now we're going to bowls. Kids in high school do not understand that I'm gaming the system, that I'm just beating bad teams left and right, and that it's really not impressive to beat Pacific 57-0. They don't care, because when I walk into their living rooms, I say, you know what, young man? Here's why you should come to Manhattan, Kansas. I won 9 games last year, and we played in a bowl game. And that's back-to-back years that we've won 8 or more games. This program is ascending. You can be part of the final climb. And kids went, all right. They didn't go, well, who'd you beat? They didn't do it. They didn't do it. So anyhow, that was like, you saw that shift, and it cracks me up. What we're watching right now is just this whole, man, if that team loses this year, can they hold on to any of their players? Now, this too will run its course. And eventually kids will start to understand, just like they do in the NFL. It's possible you win a lot of games one year and lose a bunch the next. It was never possible in college. It is now. It's happening. Now, we're an extreme, and it's not acceptable, and it's not good to be 1-5, and I'm not trying to excuse it away. These are separate discussions. I am just pointing out that, listen, have fun with this and talk about the fact that a lot of these teams swung and missed, some hit, some missed terribly on specifically quarterbacks. The kid at Tulane is a stud. Nobody knew who he was. He's a stud. Tulane's quarterback is really, we'd be worlds better if he was here.
Or McCord.
Right. Like go through these games. We've talked about this. It's and then Michigan misevaluated the room. Michigan's coaches were asked repeatedly, do you need to go into the portal and get a quarterback? And they're like, no, we're good. We got, you know what? JJ helped show them the way it has to be and how it looks, and we're going to be fine. They're dreadful at the position. They're terrible. They thought they had more talent. They brought in somebody, but it wasn't like they weren't trying to make a splash. It's fun to watch this play out. I think you're seeing a lot of weird stuff in college football. It's not fun when it's at our expense.
What's interesting to me, though, is you're describing a very fertile market for one DJ Lagway when the season is over. Because you're mentioning many programs that really could use the services of a quarterback. Surely Miami could as well. Not advocating for him to go down to play for the Canes at the end of the year after Cam Ward moves on. But you've got Michigan, who desperately could use a quarterback. You've got, I think USC would give a look to Lagway since they were on him to the very bitter end.
They might, but they might. But Miller Moss doesn't suck, and he played good against Penn State. I don't. And he beat LSU. Nah, he's not the problem. I hear you, but he's not the problem.
Oklahoma would give a long look. Texas A&M would give a long look.
Oklahoma ought to throw a lot of money at Lagway. they don't have a quarterback.
I didn't even need to try very hard on that.
Yeah. North Carolina took Jacoby Criswell, the senior transfer from Arkansas. Washington took Will Rogers, the Mississippi State kid. You know, Jack Tuttle.
Isolate that so you have your own animation. That shaking of the head.
Jack Tuttle is playing quarterback from Michigan this weekend. Jack Tuttle. I mean, you know, it's a toughie. Michigan fans are like, well, gonna have to win 10-9. That's just we're having to go here. Oregon last week went, see, we took Dylan Gabriel, who's been everywhere. Left Oklahoma, ended up at Oregon, and they just beat Ohio State, and he played well.
He did play well.
He played well. I'm not a Dylan Gabriel guy.
Nor I.
But when he's good.
Yeah.
When he's good.
It just goes to show you, though, if you're a good young quarterback, until this system is regulated, Man, you should hit the bricks every year. Hit the market every year.
But that's what I mean, though. It's so hard for a coach right now because, look, we're talking about the dance being played here in Tallahassee between Mike Norvell having to kind of walk this really fine line where he's starting Brock Glenn. He needs to see if Brock can play, but he kind of also needs to see if Luke can play. But at the same time, you're trying to win games. It's not conducive to be out here musical chairing quarterbacks trying to win games like, well, I'll play you for a quarter and you play for a quarter. And then that's not what you want to do. This was the quote that cracked me up in that Rittenberg piece about, who replaced who and who made the good decision and who didn't. And what do we think about the assessment and all that other stuff? You ready? I'm going to read this one to you. It'll hurt your feelings. There's nobody in the ACC who thought DJ was any good, one Power 4 coach said, adding that Jonathan Smith, who coached him at Oregon State, never took him to Michigan State and was never going to. I can't tell you what Norvell was thinking. Okay. That's okay. There you go. There's nobody in the ACC who thought he was any good. That's from a coach. That's interesting. Listen, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but said definitively.
That's correct. Now put your name on it. Because everybody would rally around you anyway. So go ahead.
But yeah, he might consider it cruel. You might only get that quote because he wasn't going to be named, but yeah. And he went through every team that made changes there and took in other people and all that other stuff. But, Kentucky's quarterback is Brock Vandegrift, who is a transfer from Georgia. Of course, they had Devin Leary the year before. The musical chairs of quarterbacks. By the way, Devin Leary I forgot, he was drafted by the Ravens.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They usually have excellent drafts.
218th overall, but he was drafted.
Take a flyer.
I wouldn't. He stinks. But, I'm not the Ravens. So.
You know who got unlucky, though, was Louisville. I remember in the lead up to the ACC championship game, they ran into good Devin Leary.
Yeah, every 4 games, you'd find good Devin Leary.
Oh, man. And it was in the bucket, in a window, over the top, layered, you name it, he delivered it. And that was Devin Leary at NC State for a very, very brief period of time.
Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas have everything you need for pool maintenance, chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they've got it. And they also have the largest selection of premium hot springs hot tubs in the entire city, which you can easily finance, making these hot tubs perfect. It's cool outside, guys. Get you a hot tub. And if you got an old tub, worn out, dilapidated, they'll come and get it for you, remove it, haul it away, give you some money for it towards the new one. It's a good thing. They make it as easy as it could possibly be. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how. Go by the place on Greer Road. You'll see it's a massive, massive store. It's awesome. A lot of choices. Get the 5-seater, Tom.
It's like the TV industry was. You're getting into this era. Of the hot
good
tub.
Call. You're right. I didn't
free
think
haul away.
All of it. Yeah.
Here's a little bit of a down payment towards your new one. They're just giving it away. So take it.
You are correct. It's Jeff Cameron Show on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
3 people, including 2 teens, are behind bars in connection to a shooting that took place in West Tallahassee and left one critically injured. Police arrested 27-year-old Denise Williams, a 15-year-old, and a 17-year-old in connection to the shooting that unfolded at 500 McKeithen Street Tuesday, just before 2 p.m. The arrests come after police responded and found a man inside a parked vehicle suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest. He was transported to a local hospital where he remains in critical condition. One of the suspect's vehicles was later located after the incident, and all 3 suspects were taken into custody. Bainbridge neighbors were shocked to find one of their historical markers vandalized over the weekend. Police are asking for the public's help. A car hit the sign and broke it in half. The marker displayed the history of steamboats on the Flint River and their impact in Bainbridge. A $500 reward has been set for any information that leads to an arrest. Call Bainbridge Public Safety at 229-248-2038. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 70. Winds out of the northeast, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, lows around 44. Bright sunshine expected tomorrow. Highs level off around 74. Clear skies and dry Saturday and Sunday with highs in the upper 70s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 66 degrees.
Hi, this is J.L. Dunbar. I want to tell you why I'm supporting Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, and I hope you will too. For more than 20 years, I've known Robert Churchill to be a good neighbor, a loving father and husband, a business owner, and a respected attorney. In fact, everything I've seen tells me he'll make a great Leon County Judge. Vote Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge.
Paid for and approved by Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, Seat 4.
There is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on Big River. Guys doing all right? Everybody okay? You feel good? Feel like we're going to win? I don't know. I mean, I feel good enough to pick them in today's Redemption Thursday wagers in a way that I haven't in a while. By the way, I forgot I had a bet. I looked it up during the break because I couldn't remember if I did it or not. But I have over 9 wins for Clemson on the season.
Oh, okay.
That I took in the off season. Looks easy money now, doesn't it?
It's too early to call this future dead and buried, but the Predators are 0-3, Nashville.
Yeah, they're not dead and buried. It's 3 games into the NHL
No,
season.
see,
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
look at these frauds. Hey, it's at 98.5 points.
Yeah, that was a big number, wasn't it?
That's a large number.
That's a huge number, yeah.
I feel like books tend to do that with teams that
make a splash in free agency.
Yeah, like they go all in on free agency. Like even the
Mhm.
Buccaneers, who won the Super Bowl after going all in,
Mhm.
they win 13 games that year. They made their way in. They weaved their way in. The next year was the year that they won a bunch of games and they didn't win the Super Bowl. But for the
Right.
season win-loss total, and anytime there's a first year with a free agency splash, I feel like the hit rate's got to be low.
Lightning seeking to go 3-0 with a game tonight against Vegas at 7 p.m. in Tampa.
Yeah, nice little morsel of a first period before we get to game 4 tonight.
I'm looking forward to it. Are you you hanging it? Last night's loss is an easy one for you to accept.
Yeah. Well, once it
got out of control,
I could even tell you, mutual friend Bill and Bob, who are Mets fans, were on a chain. And when it's bases loaded, 1 out early in that game, and you got Alvarez, who's the one guy you don't want coming to the plate because he's looked like a clown the last month.
Oh, the strike 3 on the corner.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just swinging. He's swinging at everything that moves, and so he finally takes one.
As soon as that thing hit the corner, I was like, "Oh, that's a toughie."
Yeah, I said, "Need an adult at bat. Come on, kid." And first pitch, it's in the dirt. Okay. Great.
You happen to get the first time in months that Walker Buehler has looked like Walker Buehler.
Yes.
He's evil.
So he had 18 swings and misses in the first 4 innings. That's the most swings and misses in the first 4 innings of a postseason game in 21 years.
Yeah, and he looked right. He looked completely right.
Kyle Loesch. Remember that name?
By the way, there was a moment of douchery in this game last night, and it was Kiki's home run, which he acted like was 480 feet. It scraped the wall. It probably shouldn't have left the yard. It barely left. It was almost caught. And he's waving bye-bye as he's going around the bases. I'm like, Kiki, come on, man.
Did you see his celebration last week?
No, I don't think.
Oh, you would have brought it up on the show. I don't even know that it would make you uncomfortable.
It drives me. I mean, the man. Now Ohtani hit a home run.
Yes.
Now Ohtani's home run almost left the damn stadium.
So he is 17 of his last 20 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, don't pitch to him when he's got people on base.
17 of 20.
Wow, he threw a spinner into a lefty low, and I mean, that ball was pissed on.
You could create the 99 overall player in MVP baseball 2004 or 2005, two of the greatest baseball games ever made. That game set on easy would not let you go 17 of 20 with runners in scoring position.
So add it to the list as the story goes of things Shohei Ohtani has done that no one has ever done in recorded history, and that is 17 hits in his last 20 at-bats with runners in scoring position. That 3-run moonshot in the 8th made it 8-0, and you could go to bed. Did you turn your TV off?
Yes.
Even you didn't think the Mets were coming back from that.
It was getting late. I needed to go to sleep.
That was a monster.
I did check the top of the 8th, though. Or, sorry, the bottom of the 8th.
You just like, oh, maybe we got something going.
We got anybody on? It was 2 outs, nobody on.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
Before Ohtani's blast, nobody had ever tallied 17 hits in any span of 20 at-bats with runners in scoring position, regular season or postseason. It had never been done. Honestly, that surprises me. In the history of baseball, I mean, we've been playing baseball a long time, and there were some 400 hitters. Like, back in the day, Ty Cobb didn't piece together 17 hits in 20. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Frank Howard, also a Dodger, had a pair of 16 for 19 stretches with the Dodgers in the same year.
Wow.
1962. Frank Howard did it twice. That's insane. Frank Howard should hit 500. What are we doing? I mean, that's nuts. But in a year in which Ohtani became the founding member of the 50 homer, 50 stolen base club in his very first regular season with the Dodgers, nice investment. He now has done this: 4 for 5 with a homer and a pair of walks with runners in scoring position in this postseason, 6 for 8 with a home run and 3 walks with runners on base, and 0 for 19th with the bases empty. He doesn't care to be there when there's nobody on base. God help you if there is.
Also, Max Muncy has reached in all 10 of his plate appearances this series as well. So there's that. He's everything that Kyle Schwarber was supposed to be this previous series. A lefty who doesn't swing at any pitches out of the zone. Incredible eye, hits for power.
Yeah,
he has been phenomenal. They're a better baseball team, but who knows? It's still the game of baseball, and these are professionals in New York.
Somebody asked Mookie Betts about, his streak of not getting hits when there's nobody on base, meaning Ohtani's. Meanwhile, Ohtani's done things this year that no player in the history of baseball has ever done. Not Babe Ruth, not Willie Mays, not Hank Aaron, not anybody. Anybody. And Mookie, who's awesome, was like perturbed by the question. He's like, well, is there something he needs to be doing different when there aren't people on base? And Mookie's like, he just gives this guy this incredulous look. And he goes, no, and I don't know why people would be bringing this up. Quote, he's the best player on the field in any game he plays anywhere ever. Oh, no, he hasn't got a hit with nobody on. Who cares? Everybody knows who he is every time he steps in the box. Everybody's expecting something to happen. I guess that's the problem. He's done it so many times that you just expect him to get a hit all the time. He's a human for 20 at-bats, I guess, with nobody on. But pretty funny.
Well, why does Dave Roberts lead him off?
That is actually fair. Don't do it. They did it because Mookie got hurt, and they moved him there when Mookie got hurt and missed those games, and then he ended up he got caught fire at the time.
Yeah.
And the argument was he gets more at-bats, which we now know is not necessarily true, and B, if you do, you're getting one more at-bat with nobody on. So let's not do that. Let's bat him 2, 3, or 4 and be done with it.
We still had our chances last night. I'm still fighting.
Well, no, this is the same exact game as game 1. It doesn't matter.
Correct.
You got your ass-beaten game. It just happens to be that when the Mets lose a game in this series against the Dodgers, they don't make it interesting.
Yeah, no, look, I'm all for winning the series in 7 and losing the run differential by 10.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Right. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
But you got to get to Yamamoto today.
Yeah, you lose today, we can call it a day.
Probably so.
Yeah.
It's baseball.
It is, buddy. But
you win game 5, you get an off day, the bullpen.
All right, here's where you want to go to get your healthy happy hour, a natural and healthier way to experience a carefree moment. I'm talking about my friends at Cornbread's. Cornbread's THC gummies offer a balanced sense of happiness and relaxation. Oh, we didn't turn down the ad buy when Cornbread said, "You want some gummies, Jeff? We make the best in the business." I said, I do want your gummies. I want to try them before we decide to take on this advertising. He said, all right, well, there's no synthetic ingredients whatsoever, and we can only send these to you if you're over the age of 21. And I said, I am over the age of 21. And I'd like to try these gummies and see about that happy hour of which you speak.
Yeah, I like them.
So it is that you want to use for your special offer. It's 100% legal and USDA organic. For the Jeff Cameron Show, you're going to use the promo code WARCHANT. Go to cornbreadhemp.com. Cornbreadhemp.com. Promo code WARCHANT for 30% off your hemp. Get you the gummies today from my friends at Cornbread. Go to cornbreadhemp.com. Promo code WARCHANT. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, WARCHANT TV. Final hour, forthcoming.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless in zero gravity. All of the weight and worry of life is melted away, and you fall into a state of profound relaxation. This is what you'll find at Tallulah CBD Mushrooms THC in Railroad Square when you try out their state-of-the-art floating pods. While you're there, shop for the best quality CBD, mushrooms, THC, and kava products available. Shop Tallulah today with 6 locations in Tallahassee and the Kava Bar Lounge in Bannerman Crossings. Online at TallulahSmokes.com.
Pinch Penny Pools has the largest selection of premium hot springs hot tubs in the city. You might even call it Tallahassee's Hot Tub Hub. 12,000 square feet of hot tubs, with over 50 of them on site. Over 20,000 gallons of tub capacity to choose from. That's 4,620,000 cubic inches of hot tubs. But I digress. So why should you own a hot tub from Pinch Penny Pools and Spas, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. Number 1. Health benefits, of course. The healing powers of soaking in a hot bubbling pool of water go back centuries. Google it. Number 2, Pinch A Penny has hot tubs with technology called Freshwater IQ. It gives you real-time chemical readings and tells you exactly what to add to keep the water at peak perfection, with automated analysis to help you control the chlorine and pH. It's hot tubs for dummies. Sign me up. Number 3, they have the best prices, of course. Plus, you get a free accessory and no interest financing. Easy peasy. But if you don't want to take my word for it, check them out yourself. Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Locally owned, locally operated, and the easiest way to find relaxation at home.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
I'm Kimmy Hogan with Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we believe you. Now, what does that mean? Over and over, we hear from the people that we represent that when they shared their story of how they were injured, either law enforcement, insurance companies, or business owners didn't believe their story. That's why you need an attorney who has your back, no matter what. An attorney who starts by believing you're telling the truth. We are Basic Brooks, and we believe you. Let's talk. 850-777-7777.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
WVFT Greater Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas. Brought to you by Palmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with two great locations in Tallahassee.
Florida State has never lost, so the Duke Blue Devils going 22-0 all-time against Duke, including last year's 38-20 win in Tallahassee, which Florida State pulled away for the Blue Devils with 21 points in the fourth quarter. Duke, 3.5-point favorites over the Florida State Seminoles on Friday night at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, 42.5 the total. Coming up on Saturday, Florida Gators, a 1-point home favorite against Kentucky, the total 43 in the Swamp. Georgia, a 4-point road dog at Texas on Saturday night, the total 56 in Austin. Jaguars, 5.5-point favorites over the Patriots Sunday morning in London. Cash back for every bet with a G-Bank signature Visa card. vsin.com/GBank. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
You want me to mow your grass? I will mow your grass. You want me to blow your roof? I will blow your roof. Do you want me to pull your weeds? I will pull your weeds.
Are you tired of people screaming at you on the radio and TV? Yeah, me too. That's why I use the Lawn Johns from My Lawn Care and Landscaping.
Hey, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We're not here to hype, just here to help. Go to thelawnjohns.com or look for our big purple truck.
Big purple truck?
I'm Franklin, and I've been a Paul's Termite technician for well over 10 years. Working for a great company like Paul's Termite and Pest Control is a blessing for my family and myself. I get tremendous satisfaction knowing that the work I do helps protect most people's biggest investment, their homes, the place where they raise their families and build lifelong relationships. Paul's is a company that stands behind their commitments, customers, and employees, and that makes me proud to represent them.
I'm Jay. Having the privilege to work with people like Franklin and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We are North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Harnessing the power of the sun, delivering the highest quality drinking water. We are warming homes and fueling industries. And behind every service, there's a dedicated team. They're your neighbors, friends, and family. We are connected, and together, we are stronger. Day and night, rain or shine, the City of Tallahassee Utilities is working for you.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think next week we've got a little bonus action. We'll do interactive hour next week for the Miami game. We'll have fun with it.
That sounds good to me. I'm also feeling pretty good about the 10-leg parlay with your picks. I'm thinking if it hits, maybe we do a little party for the people.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was $59,000.
Well, no, I didn't put $100,000. I didn't put $100.
Oh, you put $10 on it.
$10. Just merely $6,000.
Yeah.
But I'll share a little bit of it.
Absolutely.
Do a little pizza party.
Perhaps with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a different thing because it's your 10 picks. You get a higher percentage. Maybe we do like a little pizza party one day.
Maybe I should sprinkle pizza money, my own 10 picks as a parlay. I did them individually, but yeah. I have some dual bets that I did. Like for example, you guys can do the math. Go ahead and put the picks up. But like if you noticed, so think about it this way. Here's a pretty easy threesome, hey now. Minnesota versus Detroit over 51. Sam Darnold over 250. Well, hey man, he's throwing to somebody. Let's take a look. Oh, Jefferson over 92. Okay, don't mind if I do. By the way, I think Detroit's going to score too. So what's his name? Armand St. whatever his name is. I always
it's not our friend Joey.
Yeah.
It's St. Brown.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, him. Going over his 72 as well.
Amon-Ra Saint-Germain.
Yeah. But there you go. Just like compile that whole list of overs and make that a bet too. Are you doing that right now?
No. I'm actually going to put the information of what a Redemption Thursday 10-leg parlay would be. Just not every week now. I'm going to try and compile that so people can see
what it would look like.
What it would look like for 10
and
bucks.
What it would have paid if we won it. Well, the bets are up, and for those driving around, here they are. I took Florida State money line over Duke. I took BYU minus 8.5 over Oklahoma State, which is a train wreck this year. I took Iowa minus 5 against Michigan State. I took Iowa State minus 13.5 against UCF. I made a lot of money betting against UCF this year. I took the Chiefs 49ers game over 47. I took Jaden Daniels over 241 passing yards. That seems like free money. It does. I don't know what's going on. What are you doing, guys? Seahawks Falcons over 51. Vikings Lions over 51. Sam Darnold over 250 passing yards. Josh Allen over 205 passing yards. And that is the compilation of wagers for Redemption Thursday. Pay me, Martha. Now I'll have more than that. I'll have a bunch going this week. Oh, I did a little golf wagering too this week, and you guys usually want to know about that. And I don't, it's the weird time of year. You take some flyers and have some fun with it. But it's not, I won a little bit of money last week on golf, but it's hard it's a weird time of year. This is when like the JJ Spahns of the world and Harris English and Davis Thompson and guys like that are out there.
Come on. You'll get there.
These are guys that you kind of take a look at in a tournament like this. Maybe a Ben Griffin. I'm just saying.
Guy that rhymes with Joe Nosler.
Oh, yeah, your boy Hostler. Hostler is on the card this week.
For what? Top 20? Make the cut?
Top 20.
Nice.
It's the Shriners, Tom. Don't get crazy.
Well, no, Bo loves the Shriners.
He does. So does a guy like, say, Taylor Pendrith.
Taylor Pendrith.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Best player in the field in terms of talent is Tom Kim. And he is playing, and I did sprinkle some pizza money on Tom Kim to have the cream rise to the top. But my man, Steven Yeager, who won me all that money last year because I had him over the best player in the world.
He made you money for the year,
He made me real money.
For your golf bet.
He covered every golf bet I made the rest of the year.
There it is.
Yeah, he was incredible. I picked him as an outright winner. I've only ever won picking an outright with Steven Yeager. Because you don't get odds to take Rory or somebody like that in a tournament where he's the best player in the field. You're not getting Steven Yeager. Nobody was taking. I was like, I'm gonna pick him outright because he had like 2 previous top 5s at that course. I'm like, Steven Yeager likes this place. He likes this place. It's funny. I wonder if I get in my own way. There's courses around town and just out on the periphery of town. Some you like more than others, just like any other course, right? Some suit your eye. When you stand over it, hole to hole, you're like, oh, I like the way this sets up. But Tom, I never play well in courses. I don't think I play well at courses where I think it sets up nice, because I feel an added pressure to take advantage of the fact that I'm very comfortable at this course, and that immediately makes me uncomfortable, and that means I'm overthinking the whole thing.
That's the key, is you don't want to overthink. Now, if we want to do like a little discussion on how to get there for a course that suits your eye, change the par, move it up one stroke every hole.
Mhm.
Par 4s or 5s, 5s a 6,
Yeah.
3s a 4. And watch the score you shoot. You'll be stunned. You will be stunned.
Yeah.
You'll
So
fire 82.
a 5's a 6, a 4's a
Yes.
5. Yeah.
And play to par. Play to make a par on every hole.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're going to shoot 41, 41.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
to
going to
do-
go, well, how about that?
That has to do with course management. You're just tricking yourself into being a better course manager because you're playing for 6 instead of 5 or 5 instead of 4.
He's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But then my brain would go, well, you're lying to yourself. You know what you're doing. Oh, man. I took the Noles. Let's go back to that. I focused on Florida State, and I'm going to continue to beat this drum. I think they come out and play well. If they don't, hey, they're 1-6. Whew. I think you're right, Troy. I had it wrong. Saying 1-6 out loud doesn't feel right. 2-5 feels so much better.
Feels a lot better.
It does.
Even though it's not mathematically, it feels like you have a 40% winning percentage because you think of 2/5,
right?
Not 2/7. 1-6, you can't run from one out of 7. Ooh. That's a winning percentage under 15.
Buddy, if they go to 1-6. So the question continues to be, can the architect of this disaster be the same man that fixes it?
It's a good way to frame it. Because in order for this disaster to occur, it needs an architect. It needs its Art Vandelay.
It does.
And it had one.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be this bad. It's really hard to be this bad after you were so good the year before.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, even in the era in which I think you're going to see extremes, very extreme results, I do think this is an extreme result in the era of extreme results. Like, this won't be normal. Teams will fall off, significantly fall off, just as teams will significantly rise. 6-6 is going to become 10-2 for some teams. I don't think you're going to find a ton of examples of 13-0 going 2-10. I don't think you're going to see that. So there's more to it, admittedly, but I do think it is the byproduct partly of radical swings that college football fans are going to have to get used to in the era of nobody's allowed to have depth. Nobody, and if you get the quarterback wrong, you're doomed. You know, if I were trying to, if you said, because it's easy to sit here now and we've done it time and again, so I won't do that right now. I'll take the other side of it. If you say, because we wind them up and knock them down, the many things we think are wrong or look to be wrong or something is off or what happened here and my guess is this, whatever it might be. We've talked about the running game and the lack of physicality and the practices aren't hard enough and he missed on the quarterback and he poorly evaluated the offensive line and all of it. The schedule was weird. Going across the pond for your first game, fresh off the snub, your last game being an opt-out, you lose 63-3. That probably did more psychological damage than you were willing to admit. Then you lost that first game and woe is us. You come back here and the next thing you know, you're reeling. And some of this is the byproduct of emotion or lack thereof, as opposed to talent. We've talked about it till we're blue in the face. All the things we think may have caused or did cause directly this piss poor performance. If I were going to attempt to maybe defend it, I would say that once you start losing and you had the snub happen and you missed on some things and the next thing you know, you're 0-2, I do think it has affected. And in an ideal world, it wouldn't. I think a lot of people who competed in sports at anything in their life, like they're competitive people, typically speaking, I think most college football fans, passionate fans of their alma mater, passionate fans of their favorite team in the NFL, whatever it might be, are also probably pretty competitive people. And so it's difficult for those people because they grew up playing sports, loving sports. That's how you become a fan. Usually it's by directly, every study shows this, by playing sports when you're young is how you fall in love with them. Most people aren't passive sports fans. There are some who, hey, I went to the school, I'll go to the game, I'll go with my husband, it'll be nice, whatever. But most people love it, right? They're passionate about it, and they're competitive in their own lives. So they don't understand that when something goes wrong, how it is that players could collectively lay down and not try as hard, because in a vacuum, that would never happen to them. That would never, like, I would never just stop competing because I lost a game of horse to my son. I'm going to try to kick his ass the next time we play. Like, I don't lose my competitive zeal because he beat me in 21. We're check, bitch. Here we go. This is how, but we've seen it all over the country. We've seen it time and again. You do see sometimes when your goals are off the table and they're off the table quick and you suffer a couple of injuries, all of a sudden, especially if you don't have an inspirational leader at the most important position on the field, quarterback, you can see spirals. You can see these sorts of weird things. I don't know what happened. I don't know. If I'm in the locker room, you have a much better sense. None of us are. But clearly, something went haywire in addition to all of those mistakes that we've illuminated and talked about and debated.
It has to.
Something else had to have happened.
The question is, did it precede the opener in Dublin, or was it a function of the opener in Dublin?
I think it was magnified because of the opener in Dublin, and you lose that game that way. And then
BC is gasoline.
Whatever happened, whatever remained of competitive spirit and fight was just kicked out of you when you get housed on national television, the only game on, by the way, to Boston College. And I'm willing to bet in that moment those players didn't believe in DJ, and they had no reason to love him. He wasn't part of who they were a year ago. He's a hired gun. So I don't know. I mean, that is the downside of the portal, right? Is that you're bringing in hired guns.
It's a hired water pistol,
as it turns out. But these extremes, I do think, are going to be, again, the norm, and we happen to be the extreme of the extreme this year. I don't know what there is to do with the rest of this season except for find out who can play and who can. And oh, by the way, while you do that, while you play these players, these young guys that are hungry and they want to prove themselves and they're fighting like hell to usurp the veteran player that's in front of them or the kid that came in with them in the same class, like you're creating that competition, the spirit of competition, right? You have an intensity there. That's good. That's good because, again, you'll find out who you can keep. And also, they're not apt to leave because they're playing. The more of these guys you play, the more of them stick around. Losing sucks, and their mind might wander about, I could maybe leave here and find another place. But if they're getting regular reps and they're part of the solution to this disaster, it'll be very easy for them to say, well, screw those veteran players that let this happen. Our group's different. This ain't going to happen. And now we got a quarterback. So that's kind of what you're looking at. You're trying to see, do they play that way? Do they play with something other than the lethargy we've seen? Because I think that's the hardest part is that I can live. I'm an old man. I have seen a lot of winning and a lot of losing. And I can go with it both ways and have perspective when they're kicking ass, knowing that bad times will happen probably at some point while I'm still here. And I can be in the midst of bad times and go, well, given their cachet, given their history, given their location, given their investment, good times will happen again. May take 2 years, may take 4 years, may take 5 years, but I'll see it. It'll happen again. But what I can't take is what a lot of people have talked about with this team and what is hard to watch and support. And it frustrates you and you worry about it because it is a symptom, we would think, of something more going on than missing at the quarterback position or misevaluating some of the other portal players. And that is the aforementioned lethargy, the standing around, not playing hard, not playing fast, not playing physical, can't just be because your record was 0-2 to start the year. it may have aided and fast-tracked that sort of lackadaisical performance that we're all too often witnessing. But it can't be the sole reason for it. That's why we've continued to search. You know, that sense of, we're not in limbo. 1-5, you're not in limbo. You know what you are. You're not like, well, maybe. No, there's no maybe about it. You're 1-5. If you won the remainder of your games, you'd feel better about the season. But it's 7-5 sucks. You know, I mean, it's not a great season.
Agreed.
It would be a win over Miami on the road, which would be nice.
You beat Miami and Florida, and Notre Dame
on the road.
That would be a stunning second half.
It would be probably the most bizarre and crazy season I would have ever witnessed, and yet in its totality, it would be a failure.
It would be. It would help you have hope, significant hope for 2025.
Well, of course it would, and it would change your recruiting class, and it would change the momentum, and it would change all of. Yeah,
maybe.
I think it would. If you won if you won 6 straight games, including road wins against Miami, Notre Dame, yes.
Who's recruiting for you?
Understandable. You're not going to project an elite recruiting class because even when you won 13 games, they didn't sign a top 10 class. Agreed. But it would salvage what remains of this class currently, and it would add names to the list of who wants to come here without question.
It would add names, and I would love to live in that reality. I hope that we go on that run because it would be its own little magical thing.
It would be incredible.
Yeah.
And I'd celebrate the hell out of it. How could you not after this much misery?
Especially if the young kids led the way, and you're saying, "Oh my God." Let these kids come back again next year. I can get down with this. Yeah, let these kids come back next year with some development, more pieces to the puzzle. Yeah, that would be a nice reality to live in. But, you know, again, the thing that I'm happy about, if I have to be happy about anything, and I don't want to be in this situation.
Right.
Nobody does. But at least this is not, instead of 1-5, 3-3 with excuses, and you drag along dead weight for longer. This is going to help you better define what the dead weight is, and it leaves it in a place where there are no excuses whatsoever, and I'm not just talking about coaches. I'm talking about players too. Who cares to be here? If you care to be a part of this program and you have talent, and sure, NIL can help you, but you really want to be a part of the solution at 1-5, I know that you are true. Like you're as true as it gets.
Yeah.
You're as dependable as it gets. And there are some kids on that roster that do want to be a part of the solution at 1-5 and will stick it out in the off season, even if they might be talented enough to go elsewhere. But this moment that nobody wants to be in is at least going to define who's worth keeping around. And then I hope that Mike has the foresight in that moment when the season is over after these trying times to not be shy for the coaches or the roster. You don't want to be here? Go. Because if I've got guys with split loyalties or I'm kind of half-ass my way in, and if you just give me an extra $50,000 and I'll stick around, nah, man, you can't have that because then you've got corroded culture before you even start to reboot this thing.
Let's not add corroded culture to the list of woes that we're documenting this year.
Can't be a good culture right now.
No, I can't imagine that it is, and that's how loafing would be allowed. What you can't do, this is what you cannot do. You cannot watch the coach's film, the All-22s, and see a kid not give effort repeatedly and then play him. That can never happen. That's the quickest way to see a poisoned locker room. That is the quickest way to lose all culture. Everybody watches film. They know who's blocking and who's not. They know who's tackling and who's not. And most importantly, they know who's giving their all and who is not. If ever there's a time a player is repeatedly, I'm not talking about a singular loaf, a guy was a little tired from the previous play and they're running hurry up. I'm talking about this dude just doesn't give a lot of effort. Entire series where we don't see my man giving a lot of effort, cannot be on the field, cannot have it.
It's contagious if you do let him out there.
Oh, no.
If he's not going to do his job, why do I? Why do I have to do my job?
It just can never happen. That's the most corrosive element. You can never have that happen. We got to solve for the future with our friends from ISF. We'll do it momentarily. Let that future is, I'm not real sure, but we'll get to it. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Foreman, you look so twisted. What did you do now?
Well, Hank the alligator needed his teeth brushed, and when I bent over to give him a scrub, my back popped like an afternoon lightning storm in Florida. And now I can't even stand up.
You need to go to benchiro.com and schedule your new patient appointment right away at benchiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com.
I'm really busy. I don't want to leave Hank in the orange grove unattended for too long.
Ben Chiropractic will get you in right away, and they get to the cause of your problems. So go to benchiro.com and make your new patient appointment. There is even an online discount.
Discount? That's a good thing because my purse is a little light since I bought Hank a new gold chain.
You have to take care of yourself if you want to be able to take care of your alligator, Hank. Make your appointment now. Go to benchiro.com.
Well, hold my pina colada. I'm going to benchiro.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. This Halloween season, guess who will be hiding under the bed? People that sell new compact cars, SUVs, and trucks. That's who. They're scared to death of Nissan's 2024 lineup. The reports are in. The new look Sentra is absolutely the best looking car you can buy for under $25,000. And the Nissan Titan is the only pickup truck on the market with 0% for 60 months and up to $8,000 off. Forbes Magazine, Wheels Division test drove Nissan Frontier and Toyota Tacoma in head-to-head competition. Their conclusion was that the winner for driving and handling was the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, hands down. And in an even scarier review, HotCars.com stated that the Nissan Rogue is one of the best-looking compact SUVs on the market. So if you drive an SUV or a truck, don't be afraid. Come test drive the best. Test drive a Nissan at Kraft. You see, in the midst of Halloween season, just like the rest of the year, Tallahassee's not a scary town. It's a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive in Tallahassee, or visit us at craftnissan.com.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martín, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martín, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martín also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants, and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martín the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Football season is here. Do you have your picks in on Sleeper? Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money. For new users, Sleeper will even match your first deposit with up to $100 credit to your account. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code MONDAY for a credit up to $100 match on your first deposit. That's code MONDAY. Must be 18 years in most states and in state where it is legal. Promo code and other restrictions apply. Visit sleeper.com. Please wager responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
What we were talking about a moment ago, Tom, and you guys, you and D-Rob did such a good job on the All-22. It's always good. It's always fun to listen to D-Rob's insights. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch on Warchant.com. You know, I really enjoy watching those because you get the tight copy, you get all the All-22. It truly tells you everything that's happening. You don't always see from television, and sometimes you just miss watching live in person too, unless you go back and then you try to go back and watch, and they don't give you the safety shot, and so you don't really know. But when you watch that video, you're going to see a play early in the game, a player that I think a lot of people like, and I understand. I'm not talking about his character or who he is as a person, but it's the kind of thing where the simplest of blocks in this case by a receiver would have sprung possibly a huge play, maybe even a touchdown on the second play of the game, and the block's not made, and it's the simplest of assignments. It's not complicated or difficult. It's not like, oh, well, you had to do this. You got lost in the wash or something. It's none of that. And I just don't know how you can play that player anymore.
Well, it's because everybody takes turns missing their assignments.
But I mean, that's the second play of the game.
If you think about perimeter blocking for us or lead blocking this year, you can, if I said the name Malik Benson or Jalen Brown or Ja'Kai Douglas, or you name any of the receivers outside of maybe Hakeem, the one guy that we'd like to block more often, we never do. We let him catch the ball and let Jalen Brown.
I do want him to catch the ball, by the way.
No, but you let Jalen Brown block.
No, I wouldn't have Jalen Brown blocking for him either. Yes.
Morlock, Jackson West, Brian Courtney. I mean, it's just nobody does it. Nobody does it with consistency, and nobody, I don't want to say ever, but more times than not, it looks like they don't care to. Like they don't care to.
Well, in that case, the one I'm referencing is not a person not caring to, I don't think. It's inexplicably choosing the wrong person to block.
Well, yeah. It's Ja'Kai as a number 3 in the slot, and according to D-Rob's analysis of a play, he's like, there's no other way to look at
there is no other way to look at that. That's not.
He's got a linebacker as an assignment to block. It's a swing pass out to Toafili. And if you look at the grass that's available to number 9, and we know how much he can eat up space in a heartbeat if you give him a chance to get up to speed, you're looking at having the ball over midfield on your second play from scrimmage, if not more. And there's a play earlier this season against Memphis where Ja'Kai just doesn't block a dude and Jalen Brown gets hurt. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I mean, now again, not just picking on him. Malik Benson drives my ass nuts. He doesn't want to do it. Mike Norvell has called perimeter blocking awful. Those are the types of things that make me angry every time I watch them, because that's about caring for your teammate. And when you don't, it's hard to solve for anybody's future.
Well, and I was just about to say we're going to solve for the future. Solving for the future with our friends at ISF, a national company here in Tallahassee, kicking ass, doing lots of great things, as we've talked about before, within the community, within the feasibility studies and all these things, data modernization. Look, they can help you develop and really modernize your strategies with the best model for your organization. We've discussed the many groups that they've worked with that we've also worked with. So we love working with ISF. They're our great partners. In fact, I got to get up with Jonathan here real soon. He and his team are the best at what they do, and he's also a really smart and fun guy to hang out with, actually. So, Jonathan, I'm just speaking to you, not even the audience. We'll get together for a beer here soon. I know you are in misery right now, just like the rest of us, as he is an Knoll. A frustrated one, I'm sure. But if you want to solve for the future, Tom, you do what he's doing. You bench guys. You've got to bench guys. You're past the point of no return. You thought it would get better. You thought guys would begin to figure it out. You have, every time we do the all-22s, we see this. There are moments where D-Rob's able to stop the tape and go, I don't know why. This is a really well-designed play. This should work. This guy just doesn't block his man.
That's the one thing where he would, it's like a Venn diagram, where he would intersect with everybody, including us, is that the wide receiver screen thing needs to get burned, because what you're seeing, obviously, to us and everybody, is that the corners, the slot defenders, are flat-footed or leaning forward at the snap because they don't believe that they're going to get burned.
They don't believe anybody's going to run past them.
Correct. And so it's so predictable that they're just absolutely teeing off.
That is correct. Screens. That is correct. Yeah, you have to present the other potential for option one to be respected.
Which is why last week on the Red Zone, I asked you what happens first, 2 screens or 1 deep shot.
Yeah.
It ended up being, multiple. Well, last game, multiple screens.
I would have thought you would have tried the deep shot just to loosen things up and then go to the screens. Like, you can't.
But the thing where he is different than most people is Dominic looks at the film and argues the point that Mike is scheming the hell out of this stuff.
Okay, so
and guys are not doing basic things where you just it's unconscionable that guys would not fulfill basic obligations to make a play work, and it happens week after week with different plays, with different types of plays.
It is interesting because there's a part of me that absolutely agrees with D-Rob here. I think when we do get to see the All-22, there are plenty of plays that are well schemed up. They're the right call and the right time. All that requires you to make this work is execution. Coaches get a bad rap for talking about execution all the time, but they do that in lieu of, like, I screwed this up, I shouldn't have called this play. Like, when they go back and watch the film and they see, no, that was the right call, they don't want to pound their chest and say, well, I called a perfect play and our guys screwed it up.
Unless they're Hugh Freeze.
Oh, or Shane Beamer.
Yeah.
But what they do instead is they say, well, unfortunately we didn't execute real well on this play. Well, that's what they're saying. Like, I called a good play, but this dumb son of a bitch didn't block it up. Or missed his assignment completely. Or turned it down. Which, by the way, again, when I watch defensive film, I see way too many guys in that secondary that turn it down.
Well, okay. Agreed.
That turn it down, and I can't have it.
That's me with offensive perimeter blocking. You make a choice. Everybody can see the choice. This is why the eye in the sky doesn't lie. They can see the choice you made. Are you trying to make it look like that I wanted to block him?
No, you got to try to block a bitch.
Or are you going to Johnny Wilson this thing? Are you going to Micah Pittman this thing?
Put your hands on somebody and let's go.
We could not look less like Pittman and Johnny Wilson did. Could not look less like they did at this point. Same program. Same position coach, same head coach who played wide receiver. Doesn't matter. We look exactly the opposite.
I'm going to say, though, again, I believe there will be lots of changes made. Most of these, obviously, are, of course, not going to take place till the offseason. There will be a reckoning for players and coaches. I think there's some kids that'll be told to take it on down the road. You're not fit for this program. Good luck to you. There'll be kids who want to do that anyhow because they're not winning, so that's fine. That's a different discussion altogether. But I think certainly you're going to have, if you see the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you know that that's not how you teach it, and you know that's not how they coach it, you're going to conclude that kids have tuned either that coach out, you out, but you're not firing yourself. So, buddy, I just think he's going to have to make a lot of changes. It may work out that a lot of guys leave on their own. I think the writing's kind of on the wall with many of these guys.
That's where the head coach sometimes on the dais does that little internal dance. It's almost like they're talking to themselves. Like, so why weren't you able to, produce? And the answer is something. Well, on some plays we just got to execute. And in their mind, they're saying this guy that I've told.
Mm-hmm.
But then they'll stop themselves and go, but we got to coach it better. Because then the head coach's mind goes from, I wish he did what I asked him to do, to clearly he doesn't know how to do what I'm asking him to do, which is my fault because his position coach isn't getting it done, which means I'm wrong because I put the position coach in that place to teach him what to do on this play, and it's not getting done. So, yes, I'm mad at the kid, but I'm also mad at the coach. And so,
yeah, they're never going to say any of this.
Non-sequitur time, but it's non-sequitur time. We go, well, this is where, we had some plays where I wish we executed, but you know what? That's on us. That's on us. That's the mental gymnastics that they're going through.
A great leader, and you're absolutely right, that's what they're going through, but a great leader, and he is the leader of the organization, even in the back of his mind, knowing he's about to make radical changes, even in the back of his mind, knowing he's going to run some kids off, even in the back of his mind, thinking about already who he wants to hire, perhaps having had his agent reach out to that coach because it's also his agent. We always say back channels. It's not really back channels anymore. They just go through Sexton. Hey, will you tell Bob I'm going to be giving him a call here real soon? See if he's interested, all right? So that's kind of how that goes. But anyhow, you might know all of that, but when you get asked the question in the moment, you have to have dignity, you have to have class. You probably personally like the person that you're telling to have a good day. You might even love the person. I don't know. I mean, in some cases, that's the case. But you're not gonna do that. That's not the forum. You're gonna say, it's on me. We're just not coaching it well enough. It starts with me. That's all you can do. Now you know what you're about to do, but it's just going to be, that's on me. We're just not coaching it well enough. Clearly, it's not getting through. So we'll continue to rep it. See if we can get kids to buy in and do it correctly. But I'll take full blame for that because clearly this has continued.
Mitch Kane recommended to me in the industry by some people that I trust.
Yeah.
And suffice to say, I don't trust them as much anymore.
Never again.
Mitch sucks at his job.
Yeah.
And, I missed on that. That's on me. But Mitch, it wasn't just screwing.
It would be hilarious if you ever saw that. A guy just having a meltdown knowing he's going to get fired too. So what happened on the lack of perimeter blocking there on the second play of the game, Coach? Looks like you had something schemed up there. Oh, we did, Bob. We did. I've watched that play, and I got to tell you, I'm tired of Mitch. Mitch is a piece of garbage, and I'm going to fire his ass. And I am done watching this week-to-week buffoonery.
Were you grabbing the box score?
Yeah.
The coach
I'm
score?
grabbing the box score, yeah.
That's what Jimbo used to. What were we, huh?
There's 7 plays here in which I thought to myself, and I even wrote a little note. I can't tell you what it says, but it begins with F, and the second word is Mitch. And so that's where I have it written here 7 times. I'll make Mitch available to you afterwards if you'd like to talk to him.
Well, I'll make him available.
Mitch will be available for the free world to talk to here real soon.
Hey, the industry.
Yeah. Everybody can talk to Mitch about his incompetence.
The F word was free.
Yeah.
I am freeing Mitch from his obligation.
Free from his duties because Lord knows he's not fulfilling them here. Yeah, I would love to see that, but it's, I don't know. I've been asked this question a lot. Who on the staff would you fire? Who do you think he'll fire? How many coaches does he replace? I really don't know the answer to that. I know the coaches are hesitant, reluctant, even most all of them, about making these kinds of changes, although this has been such a tough road that you have no choice now. I do think, though, that there are some people who may want to take it on down the road on their own volition. And if a coach is able to frame it that way, he would just assume do so. Like, I think coaches like it if the guy that they're going to have to fire also knows he's going to be fired and is also looking for a job in season. Like, I don't think I'm long for this. Then that way you can frame it as, oh, he got a job at Arkansas.
Took the offensive coordinator position at Abilene Christian. All right.
Looks like our DB coach got a DB coach offer in the SEC, and he took it. Good for him. We're wishing him well. I'm just using that as an example.
I figured he doubled down just to use it as a basic,
just as an example,
non-specific example.
Yeah, I didn't want to fire the guy. He got a good job offer. They offered him more money, and we said, good luck to you. ISF, best in the business. To learn more about all that they do, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I mentioned data modernization. I mentioned feasibility studies. I mentioned some of their clients, some of their capabilities. There's a lot of it. Strategy and operations, public managed service, all these things, isf.com. More of the Jeff Cameron Show momentarily. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now, here's your Paul's Termite and Pest Control Tallahassee weather report.
Plenty of sunshine and cooler temperatures with highs staying in the 70s, lows in the upper 40s and 50s. Gradual warm up heading into the weekend, but staying sunny. Tonight, clear, low of 44. Friday, sunny with a high of 76, low of 53. Warming back up more this weekend. Sunny on Saturday and Sunday with highs near 80. From Real Talk 93.3, this is Danielle Kelly.
For the elimination of termites, pests, and for a greener lawn too, call Paul's. They'll get them all.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
Hey, everybody, it's Ed Dean along with Roger Henderson, also with FloridaDaily.com. Just want to remind you, daily 4 to 6 in the afternoons right here in Tallahassee on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Roger, it is literally the 2 fastest hours anywhere in afternoon talk radio.
And if you think the country's going crazy, we'll help you make sense of it all.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to make some sense of it. Again, Monday through Friday in the afternoons, Ed Dean, Roger Henderson on 93.3.
Time to head out on our annual guys fishing trip. Wait, where's Jimmy?
He just texted me saying he has to swing by his storage unit to get a couple of things. And now there's a truck blocking him in and he won't be here for another hour.
That wouldn't have happened if he had just called Southeast Portable Buildings and got a unit right on his property.
I love mine. I have so much more space in my garage. Now I can finally park my truck in there.
Give them a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400. Or visit them online for all their options at southeastportablebuildings.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, Tom. Is this still a series after tonight? Is this still a series?
Well, I mean, they're playing tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They have to play tomorrow.
Well, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, the game is tonight, right?
Yeah,
it's definitely not. You had me nervous thinking that the game was tomorrow. No, you mean there's just one more game at least to be played, even if they lose.
Yeah,
I agree. But we
Uncle
both know
Steve
this.
Cohen gets the max 3 home games.
Yeah,
you know?
we do know that if Quintana can't beat Yamamoto tonight.
Yeah, I think for Quintana.
By the way, Quintana,
he's been battling. He's been good.
0 ERA in the postseason is good.
Yes. If you watch them, it is laborious.
Yeah, no, he's never going to overpower anybody.
But he's a bulldog, as they say. It's like a guy who's more athletic than he appears, right? That's what they say about a pitcher who doesn't have stuff. What a bulldog. This guy just battles.
Yeah.
He's either out of the game in the second inning or he's going to go 6. Because he's soft tossing.
Quintana pitched in Pittsburgh, and of course he pitched for the White Sox, and he's been around. But I like him because he's a professional pitcher, and he does fight, and he does. He's a lefty. He induces ground balls.
The lefty thing helps here because again, Muncy's been on fire. Ohtani, if anybody's on base, is God, and then of course Freeman's in the middle of the lineup with a bum leg, but he's still Freddie Freeman. So having the lefty there, you worry about Mookie Betts and Teoscar Hernandez. I'd rather have the lefty. So. Hopefully, if recent history has anything to say about these Mets, absolutely it's a series tomorrow.
You got to give Quintana a lot of credit, man. That dude has been pitching in the major league since 2012. It's 2024, and he is still in the bigs out here doing it. And he was a really good pitcher with the White Sox. And then later the Cubs, he was okay. And then obviously he's been with your Mets these last 2 seasons. He was with the Pirates. He was with St. Louis briefly. I mean, he's been around the block. He's when you're playing the game, what's the game? The baseball thing where you pick the guy that's been on it, each team.
Oh, Sporkle?
Well, it's something like,
Sporkle is a website.
Yeah,
but Immaculate Grid.
Yeah, Immaculate Grid. I could never remember. When you're playing Immaculate Grid, he's now one of my favorites because you got Cubs, White Sox, Dodgers, Giants, Pirates, Cardinals, Mets.
That'll work.
You're going to be all right.
For a starter, I mean, that's basically the life of Arthur Rhodes.
Yeah, throw it out there. Oh, yeah, I know. it's fun with guys like that. You're like, well, that'll work. Anyhow, that's tonight. That is 8:08 p.m. and that is Yamamoto versus Quintana. The other game is the 5 o'clock game, which we'll be watching here in a bit. Yankees have dominated this series so far against Cleveland. The biggest problem for Cleveland is that they don't hit, for starters, and secondarily, they are supposed to be the better defensive team, and they have not been in this series at all. They are supposed to have better pitching, and they haven't so far. So the things that they have to do to win the series to beat the Yankees, again, Cleveland has to win that series by winning games 2-1, 3-2, maybe 4-3. They have to pick up the baseball. They have to make defensive plays, keep themselves around. They've given up 5 and 6. They haven't played good defensively, and they've been outpitched. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Luke Weaver, who now has 4 saves in the postseason and has been dominant.
Yeah.
How about that?
So his changeup has been a revelation pitch in this postseason. It's among the best changeups in the game right now. People are talking about it on the level of the guy that we got to in Milwaukee. Is it Jordan Williams? I forget his name, the closer. It's a forgettable name because we beat him. But Luke Weaver's stuff is on that level at this point. There were some numbers today that Hembo was sharing. He only throws strikes at about a 38 to 40% clip, but he's getting strikes, which means he's inducing swings and misses, plus the called strikes at a 65% clip. So he lives out of the zone, but his stuff is so tantalizing that you must swing at it. That's how nasty he is right now.
The beauty of being a pitcher that has a pitch, let's say, that is plus, is that you can be a terrible starter or a below average starter, see Luke Weaver, and then become a very, very good reliever. It can be, you know what? I got you for the next inning and a half, 2 innings before everybody figures this pitch out. Let's do this. And good for him. Love that kid.
It's what they should have done with Thor years ago. Dude was always a closer, was never a starter.
Just come in, throw 102, and get out of here.
Right. You could go fastball slider. It's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting when you watch something like that play out, but I really obviously root for it big time when it's one of our own, man. And that kid, I remember the jump from his last year, from his first year to his last year, and seeing the stuff change. Now, when he left Florida State, you're like, oh no, he threw hard. And that's where you see, like, he had major league fastball, he had all of that.
It was mid-90s with the Rays seams.
Yeah, he was throwing. And the pop, the sound that it made was incredible at that time. I remember, like, oh, he has found something. This is incredible. I love watching pitchers discover but also find a way to release an extra whatever it is. So more spin on a baseball. We talk about that, right? Or more MPH. Like finding it in your body. That's so cool. It's in a weird way, it's like distance in golf. That's now practiced. You can now figure it out. It has to do with body mechanics, swing speed, all that stuff. And now you can rep it. You can change who you are as a golfer. There have been a lot of guys who were 15 yards short of the best hitters in the game, and they couldn't win tournaments. I mean, when you're giving up 15 yards per drive, these are tournaments that are won by 2 and 3 strokes. A stroke. When you're hitting 5-iron and he's hitting 7-iron, you're not going to get it close to the hole. And you're going to have or the pin. You're going to have a hard time. And then you watch a guy add 15 yards through those exercises in the off season, if you will, of golf. And all of a sudden you're like, that guy won a tournament and he's in position to win a lot more. Pitchers unlock some key in mechanics. Even if it's not like, oh, I've created more spin. I figured out how to better use my back leg. I figured out more torque doing this, and this. Like I got a lot stronger in my core, whatever it might be. And you figure it's fun to watch because you'll see that, like, if you're lucky enough to follow a kid, in this case, following Florida State baseball, you'll see it happen. You'll be like, okay, he's this, and he's good at this, but that's never going to really play at the next level. He found this. Look at that. That's cool. He may get a chance. That's what I felt it was with Luke. You're kind of like, Oh, there is some giddy up all of a sudden.
Yes, and he's on a front-running club right now, which is the prohibitive favorite to win the World Series.
Without question.
They have to be. Obviously, because they're going to get there. It's still in doubt in the National League. It's in less doubt in the American League, although that can change in 9
It's
innings.
baseball. It can change. You're right. Let's hope. Hey, listen, if Cleveland wins tonight, it changes some.
A little bit.
Yeah, I too think the Yankees are going to the World Series, but I also am tired of the Yankees getting lucky in the sense that Giancarlo Stanton does nothing all year long ever for anybody ever, and then he gets the World Series and he's freaking Babe Ruth and you can't get him out. I mean the playoffs.
Yeah.
Matthew Boyd goes for the Guardians. Clark Schmidt going for the Yankees at 5:08 Progressive Field. Let's go Guardians. Don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either. I don't feel great about 8:00 tonight either, but what are you going to do?
It's because you're down in the series. If you were up 2-1, you're like, here we go.
Well, and they're a better ball club that's playing well right now. That's the problem is they're finding these guys, Flaherty hadn't been anything in a while.
Only Flaherty.
And then last night, Buehler hadn't been anything in years. Again,
he's been hurt. Yeah.
He's got a knuckle curve and a sweeper last night that induces more swings and misses than anybody had in the playoffs in 21 years.
Well, he's also dot in the black with a fastball.
Yeah,
I mean,
he got 2 or 3 key ones. Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple fastballs where you're like, really?
The hard part is you're just not as good as they are. So when you do hit one to the track, it needs to clear the wall. And we had a couple of those last night too.
All right. Well, I hope it happens tonight because I want to see 2 Game 7s. I said it on yesterday's show, but
it's a 6-game series.
Let's hang in there. Let's hang in there. Good work out of you, brother, and to all of you who I would say called and or listened like I did back in the day. But for those who listened and watched, greatly appreciate it. Be well, and until tomorrow on a Live Nations Friday. Peace.